Good morning, everyone, and I would like to welcome you all for your 10th session with us. Today's topic is broken authentication. Yesterday, we had a very great session with Ashutosh sir. Today, he's gonna guide us through broken authentication. Yeah, so Ashutosh sir, you can start with the session.
You are great. I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes, you are audible.
Okay. A very good morning to all. Let me first share my screen. Okay. My screen is visible, right? Cool. So today we're gonna talk about broken authentication. So let me introduce myself again. Myself Ashutosh Upadhyay. I am a third year student, doing internships in organizations and cybersecurity enthusiast and city of Tier 2. So today we are gonna talk about broken authentication. Yesterday we had covered broken access control, and we had also taken a deep brief regarding what is difference between authentication and authorization, and then only we had covered what is properly the authentication is. Today we're gonna talk about it more deeper. So what is authentication? The first question, because our topic is broken authentication. So like we first have to get to know the thing like what is authentication properly. So as many of you were there in yesterday sessions too, so anybody can say like what is authentication, just in the chat box, or you can unmute your mic. What is authentication? I am audible, right? Hello. Just please be responsive, like just comment yes or no, or like what you know about what is authentication, because we had already covered it yesterday too. Hmm. So authentication is the process of identifying if someone is eligible to avail the required resources or not. Great, Rehan Sheikh. So you're absolutely right. If you talk about authentication, authentication is the process, like as you said, to verify that the individual or entity or website who is or entity or website is whom it claims to be. Like if I am saying that I am Ashutosh Upadhyay, then website of then it will ask like what is the proof that you are Ashutosh Upadhyay? Yeah, so I have to prove my identity over there, like I am Ashutosh Upadhyay. So in the context of web application, as you said, we can prove our identity by submitting username or passwords, like as we see as a user. Oh, sorry for this. Okay, I can present my whole screen. It will be great. Cool. So, as a user, when I log in, go to the web application, I will prove my identity by submitting username and password in the form of username and password. Then I can prove my identity in any form which can identify myself as, yeah, this is the only thing that I know, no one else, right? So I can submit my username and password. Then it will credential and will be sent to the server. Server will follow it to database to like cross verify that, yeah, he is saying his username is this, so username matches, password is this, the password for this username is matches. All right, so like the user is verified, then this is the valid user. Then web server will send a session ID. We will talk about it, what it is. Then this user will be authenticated via for this web application. All right, so this is the like main thing about what is authentication we talk. But how can someone be authenticated? As we know, as we talked recently, here Raj is authenticated. Now Raj is authenticated to access his web application, right? So he is authenticated using username password. But what are the various methods to like to be authenticated somewhere? So majorly, we can get authenticated by via three things. First of all, something like something you know, with something you have. or with something you are or you do. So what it is all about? So something is, it describe like, you can be authenticated on the basis of something, like your ID, passwords and all. So if let's say your friends comes to your home and you want to authenticate him like he's your friend, so you will ask him something that you and your friend only you both know, no third person know, right? You will ask him anything like भाई मेरा nickname क्या है, या फिर हम लोग कौन से स्कूल में पढ़े हैं वगैरह वगैरह. So something, you can ask to your friend. If he knows the answer, then you can verify that हाँ ये आंसर जो है ये मेरे फ्रेंड्स को पता है, तो लाइक ये आई कैन ऑथेंटिकेट, ये वही बंदा है. All right. So it is all about something and something you have. What it says, like right now, if we authenticate in few of the applications, just verify us by using some sort of hardwares. Like we can authenticate by inserting the pen drive in the laptop, so that we can verify like, yeah, I am the authenticated person. That's also a type of authentication if you see. So like, it is known as something you have, like you can authenticate on the basis of what you have. If you go to the schools every day, you get authenticated on the basis of your ID card, like, yeah, this is your ID card, you have your ID card, so you can show it, I have my ID card and I am the student of this school or this college. So you are there authenticated as a student by something you have, that is your ID card. All right. Now the third method is something you are or you do. So what is it all about? So something you are or you do, like when I go to the school, I verify my identity by when I go to my office, I verify my identity by like doing a biometric. Yeah, biometrics is what I can do. I can just prove my identity by showing my thumb impression or all, or else in my phone also I can like authenticate like I am the real person, real user of this phone, by doing a biometrics in my phone. Or else biometrics is something what I do, I just press my finger on the back, so I can verify that I am the real user, I am not like someone else. Else in phone also we can log in by entering the password is what something we know, right? So like, yeah, I guess, I hope so these three methods are clear. Is it? Anybody having doubt right now? We are just studying, cool. We just studied like what how we can verify our identity, how we can authenticate ourselves. All right. So if you see like clearly, we can authenticate ourselves on password based authentication, multi-factor authentication. Password based, as I told, it is something password based authentication. Multi-factor authentication is like, you got the OTP and all. OTP is what something you have. When you enter your number, you get the OTP. You got the OTP, you have the OTP, and you have to enter that OTP in the web application, so that it can authenticate you as yourself. All right. So it is what multi-factor OTP based, like MFA. There's various others too. We can authenticate on the basis of certificate based. Certificate based is like we can show the certificate, or else like there is a web server. I want to take the SSH of that web server. So instead of passing my username and password, I can pass the certificate, which is signed like from the website. Like, yeah, I have this certificate. I can prove that I am the valid user. I want to log in. I want to take the SSH of this web server. This is what certificate based. And on the biometric authentication, as I said, we can do it via facial recognition, fingerprint scanner, speaker recognition, eye scanner. These all are the biometric authentication. It's covered like something you are or something you do. All right. Token based authentication. All right. So now we had covered what is authentication and how we can authenticate ourselves on a web server. All right. So the basic fundamental about the authentication is cleared. Yeah, बाबा, I know कि authentication क्या होता है, authentication कैसे करते हैं, authentication के हम लोग कैसे कैसे कर सकते हैं और कौन से मेथड से इसको किसमें क्लासिफाई करते हैं. नॉर्मल अपना बेसिक क्लियर हुआ. नाउ वी कैन गो अहेड लाइक व्हाट इज ब्रोकन ऑथेंटिकेशन. एनी आइडिया? Right now we had covered like what is authentication. Now what is broken authentication? Why the term is broken authentication? As yesterday we had covered what is broken access control. Similarly, what is broken authentication? Do you have any idea? Like you can comment in the chat box, or else we can continue. using someone else's session token, authenticating yourself. All right, great. So if you talk specifically what is broken authentication, what is the purpose of this control shift alt P? Cool, fine. So broken authentication is nothing but it is the umbrella. Like, what it says is like it covers various other vulnerability through which attacker can exploit to impersonate legitimate user. All right, as you said, like we can use someone's other session ID to like log into their account. We can impersonate, like I am an attacker. I can impersonate some other user, like I am that user. I am using your account. All right. So let's say we can say like using password based authentication. And let's say a friend comes to your home. You want to authenticate that it's your friend or not. So what you can show, you can show that you can ask him what is my birth date. Okay, and his birth date is known by everyone. So anyone say like, yeah, your birthday is this, and this. So he can authenticate. Also, we can take some other example. Let's say you go to the college, and in college, the security guard only verifies that you have ID card. It doesn't cross check like photo matches with you or your name or else. So what you can show, you can just take someone else's ID card and enter the college by showing your ID card, because the proper check is not implemented over there. The security guard is not properly verifying the name or photograph on that ID card. It is not verifying that you are holding that ID card. It means you are authenticated person and you can enter the college, enter the school. All right. So perfect example we can say like broken authentication. The broker authentication and session management of the web application are often not implemented correctly or leading attacker to get unauthorized access to the user data. As I said right now, the example of this college and security guard here, the authentication is not implemented correctly. Like they are not verifying, they are not doing multi-factor authentication. They are just doing the password-based authentication. All right. So like due to the because these are not implemented correctly, it can lead the attacker. It can give a chance to the attacker. That attacker can gain unauthorized access to the user data. Unauthorized means like user is not authorized to access his data, but still he is getting his data. He is getting access to his data. He is unauthorized person. We can say like an hacker or someone else. So this is what broken authentication is. Broken authentication, majorly it's classified into two parts, like session management and credential stuffing. If we say specifically what is session management, so session management refers to the like process of securely handling multiple requests to web-based applications within a single user entity. So what it actually looks like, what is session management? If you talk now, so yeah, session management is like let's say I am logging in a web application. All right, so I web application, like it always authenticate me in each and every request I send to web server. Like, yeah, this request is coming from legitimate user or not, it is coming from legitimate user or not. All right, so for every authentication, it is not gonna ask me my user and ID and password. Let's say I want to access my chat box, it will ask me what is your user ID password. I want to unmute my mic, it will ask me what is your user ID and password. All right, so like it is not gonna authenticate after and after by asking me my user ID password and all. So what it does is like when I logged in a web application, it creates a session of that. It creates a session of that. So whenever I make another request, it will pass some session ID or tokens of verification authorization, like, yeah, this is a legitimate user, it has logged in previously and his session is currently valid, so he can access other all request. Okay, so what pass actually is the cookies and all where the session is stored. So we are going to talk regarding that also. Next, the next part is credential stuffing. They can do broken authentication by bypassing that by doing the credential stuffing. Like, let's say I am a user, I am using the same password on every platform, and let's say I am using the dead password also in the Domino's, which was like data leaked previously, like 1-2 years before. So if let's say any hacker got access to that data dump, from that he got my password which I was using previously for Domino's. Okay, but I am a fool. I always use the same password at all the platform because I don't remember the password. Okay, So what I use January at the rate 2002 or anything. Cool. So he got the password. He tried that password in each and every platform, and he can get access to that too, because he has my password already from that dump. Or else, what he can do, he can use my compromised credential, or else he can brute force using that dump, or like, yeah, there are various other credential stuffing too. So the main reason behind broken authentication is these two: session management and credential stuffing. These two are the main reasons. If you talk about how we can do broken authentication, like why broken authentication is possible. So there are various reasons, like we can do broker authentication. We can we can authenticate ourselves by impersonating a legitimate user via these all things. If this all like methods or these all things are present over there, we can do by credential stuffing. We can do login if by brute forcing or another automated attack. Like, yeah, there is a user, we can brute force its password if I want to like log in from his account. All right. Am I going fast or like, yeah, it's cool? The speed is like, yeah, understandable, right? Or should I slow down? Just let me know, all right, if I will fast or something. Cool. So let me continue. So मैं बोल रहा था what is we can मतलब if कोई एक वेब एप्लीकेशन है, ठीक है, एंड आई वांट टू लाइक मेरे को उसके अंदर लॉग इन करना है, मेरे को इम्पर्सोनेट करना है. इफ दिस ऑल थिंग्स आर प्रेजेंट ओवर देयर, any of these things are present over there, then there is a chance that I can log in, I can authenticate myself, or attacker can authenticate itself on behalf of legitimate user by using traditional stuffing, like previously compromised passwords by brute forcing. If there is a default or weak or well-known passwords over there, like default passwords, like if we always see in our routers to the default password of Wi-Fi router is always admin and all. Like these are the default password or weak password or well-known password, like password one. Or else there is a habit of few users, what they do, they make the password like currently the month is July. So what they will do, July at the rate 2022. Next month they will change the password to August at the rate 2022. So these all are the well-known password. Attacker can make the list of that and can brute force it on all. And another method are weak or ineffective credential recovery, forgot password processes. Forgot password mechanism is also vulnerable if there is not they are not properly configured and all. Plain text encrypted or weakly hashed password stored. So what it means, like if we are entering a password, it is storing on the database in the plain text, or it is not encrypted yet. So that is the main reason why compromised data can be easily used, because once let's say I am having a web application and I am storing the user of my applications in a plain txt, the credential of my users. All right. So if let's say any attacker by chance got access to my database or else, he can like clearly see the password in a plain text format, because I have not implemented any encryption or not any cryptographic hashes or all. Or else if I implemented also, I just encrypted them in a weakly hash, like I am encrypted in the MD5 and all. Cool. So like this can also lead attackers to like log into someone else's account, which can lead to broken authentication, missing or ineffective multi-factor authentication, session ID exposed in URL. We are going to talk about what is session ID next, and reuse session identifier, that is session ID also after successful login. Does not correctly invalidate session ID. So this three topic we're gonna come back here after covering the next few slides. So here we talk what is session ID. What is session ID? Specifically, what is session ID? Because every time we log in, session ID is created. Cool. Like currently I'm in Canva. I can see my cookie. I can see my session ID here too if it's clearly visible. Cool. Let me see from the Google. Fine. Okay, these are all the cookies I will show you in the practical. But yeah, do you like know the what is fundamental of session ID, or like what is session ID exactly is? having any idea or anything have heard before? I guess someone is typing, so we can wait for him. Cool. So, like, what specifically is session ID? If you see, session ID is what? When a user made any changes in a web application, like signing in or signing out, the server does not know what the person is and all blah blah blah. So, in short, what I say previously also, like when I logged in, I had logged in using my credential, using my username and password. All right, but like because to authenticate myself, because server does not know who that person is, so I have to log in. All right. So whenever I logged in and I make any changes, so in order to solve, so I want to make changes. In order to solve this session, I introduced it all the information of single user and reused across the variable. So in short, what I said is like I logged in as a user. All right, I logged in using my credential, my username, password. But for accessing various requests, I have to authenticate myself after and after, because let's say I log in as a in my Google account. I want to access Gmail. When I click on Gmail, I have to re-enter my user ID password. I say I want to send a mail, I have to re-enter my user ID and password. So this is irritating, and like this is not a best practice. So what actually does is when we logged in, the server creates. See what we did. I shown you the figure here. Yeah. Let's say when Raj logged in using his username password, credentials shared to the server. Okay, to the web server. And what the web server does, it just verify whether the credential are right or wrong, whether the user is legitimate or not. Like I have existing entry of this user in my database, or it is some new user. So if I have having a existing entry of that user in my database, what I will do, I will server database will respond, yeah, this is a legitimate user, this is a valid user. I have its entry in myself. Okay, then web server will issue a session ID. What session ID is? The user is logging in, and the session ID will be stored on the user's ID in the cookies format or else. So whenever user will try to like access some other request which required authentication, that cookie will be passed in the header, and that cookie will authenticate to the web server that yeah, this is a cookie. I had logged in previously. I have been logged in previously, and I am a valid user. You can like pass this. You can pass this particular request on behalf of me. This is what actually it does. लाइक यू कैन से कि मैं एक बार गया बैंक में जाकर मैं लॉगिन करते हुए अपना क्रेडेंशियल दिखाया, तो उन्होंने मेरे को टोकन दिया. ऑलराइट. सो अब वो टोकन लेकर मैं किसी भी गेट पे जाता हूँ, किसी भी विंडोज पे जाता हूँ, वहाँ पे मेरे को बार बार मेरा आईडी कार्ड दिखाने की नीड नहीं है. आई कैन शो देम द टोकन एंड आई कैन पास माई फॉर्म. ऑलराइट. So this is what we can see. The session ID is look like. Okay. So specifically, if we talk about the session ID, so let's say when I'm logged in, some code is generated with a unique identification number, that is ID, which is unique for all in the form of hashes. So basically, like these hashes are always in 32 hexadecimal numbers, like this given over here. It is not the session ID. It is just an example of that, which we call session ID is. But what is cookie? As I said right now, cookie session ID, where session ID is stored in the client side in a cookies. All right. So like here we can see there are various cookie in my of this Canva. ये सारे जो है Canva के cookies store हो रहे हैं. All right. And we can say अभी मैं Zoom में login हूँ, and in Zoom also there are various cookies. Cool. So what the cookie actually is? You always say cookies. So cookie is a small piece of data sent by a server to the browser and store the user's computer while the user is browsing. Cookie are produced and shared between the browser and server using HTTP header. If we read this, like we can get the basic idea of what a cookie is, but let me explain it for you. What the cookie is actually like when I log in into the application. All right. Then a small piece of data, or you can say cookie store actually a number of data within itself. If I show you, there are a number of data like dash dash CFVM, CID, UID, uh, SVH, GA, GID. Like there are a number of data cookie storing in itself. All right. So what actually it does, if you see a cookie store, what it does, let's say here is a client, any user, we can take example of that Raj. So Raj want to log in into an application. All right, he fill the form, he will fill his login credential and all. A post request will send to the HTTP browser, to the server. That request will contain his David's username and David's password. All right, the request has been sent to the server. Server have to like verify that yeah, the data it is sending me in the post request is legitimate or not. So it will send to the अगर यहाँ पे login successful है like तो यहाँ पे data आया वो correct है, what it will do, it will create a session id, it will return the session id in cookie and store the session id in the database. So like यहाँ पे मैंने credential डाला, सर्वर पे गया, यहाँ पे वेरिफिकेशन हुआ कि मेरा आईडी और पासवर्ड करेक्ट है कि नहीं. अगर मेरा आईडी पासवर्ड करेक्ट है तो यहाँ पे एक मेरा सेशन आईडी क्रिएट होता है. द सेम सेशन आईडी हैज बीन रिटन इन द कुकी एंड दैट also sent to the database. So like the session id has been stored on the both ways, on the client side as well as on the server side in the database. All right. So like when I send a request, another request, that is when I send another request, the in http header my session id will be passed in a via cookie because it is stored in the cookie. All right. So it will passed again. Then at the server, it will not verify me with my user ID password. It will look up for the session ID which I am passing from the cookie, and if the session ID already if the session ID matches which has been like previously stored, then it will matches like session match with the username or session is still valid because session is created, but there will be some expiry time. All right. So like it is still valid or not. If it is valid, we can provide the content for which it is requesting. We can forward the content for David, whatever the request is. All right. So like this is a basic infrastructure we can say of like how the session ID created and how the cookie has been set and how the cookie has been passed to the servers and how it's been authenticated. So this is a basic like blueprint we can say for session ID and cookie. So till now, I guess so. Like it's been clear, like the concept of authentication. What is authentication? What is broken authentication? What is session ID? What is cookies and all? Hope so it is clear, right? This thing, yes or no, or something. Great, 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 great. So till now we had covered this all things, and now we are gonna take the example of how the broken authentication actually works. So if you talk about the scenario, let's assume that there is an attacker and he want to enumerate all the possible user of platform and he has a large target list and there is no rate limit on the forgot password. Rate limit, you know what rate limit is actually? Rate limit is like, let's say I have to log in, we want to log in, okay, rate limit, a simple example. In my Android phone, when I want to unlock my phone, I have to enter my pin or password. All right. If I like pass more than 5 times incorrect passwords, it will show me like wait for the 30 seconds before trying again. All right, because there is a rate limit. I can like pass only 5 at a time, or after 5 I have to wait for another 30 seconds. All right. So like there is a rate limit. If it will not there, अगर ये 30 सेकंड मेरे को वेट नहीं कराएगा तो व्हाट आई विल डू, लाइक आई विल ट्राई अनदर I 1 1 1 2 2 2 3 3 3 4 4 4. I can do a multiple brute force back to back. All right. And it not gonna stop me or it not gonna take any action, so I can like pass whole number कि बाबा 4 डिजिट का है तो मैं 1 1 1 से लेकर 9 9 9 तक सारे नंबर ट्राई करूंगा, कुछ ना कुछ तो खुल जाएगा. All right. So for that, to stop the brute force attack, we like implies that the rate limiting. So what the scenario one was like, let's assume there is a attacker and there is a platform, a web application. There is a platform and he want to enumerate all the users created over there. Suppose मेरा एक platform है example.com and as a attacker I want to enumerate कि ये example.com पे कितने users created हैं. ठीक है. मेरे पास एक लॉन्ग टारगेट लिस्ट है, लाइक मेरे पास एक वर्ड लिस्ट है. वो वर्ड लिस्ट कहाँ से मिला? either I created my own or either I just taken that word list from like any compromised database or any leaked database somewhere else. So anyhow I created a long target list and I want to enumerate कि like ये target list में से कितने यूजर यहाँ पे क्रेडिट है, कितने यूजर यहाँ पे एग्जिस्ट करते हैं. ऑलराइट. एंड द थिंग इज देयर इज नो रेट लिमिट ऑन द फॉरगॉट पासवर्ड पेज ऑफ दिस प्लेटफॉर्म. यहाँ पे कोई रेट लिमिटिंग वगैरह नहीं है. तो लाइक in this case attacker can exploit the flaw and perform email bombing, spamming attack and all. So like यहाँ पे rate limit नहीं है and I want to enumerate all the things. What I can do कि मैं एक request को intercept करूँगा. I will just go to the forward password functionality. I will send a request and I will intercept it. And after intercepting it, in order to exploit it, what I will do, I will just brute force the username over there. And एनी यूजर नेम अगर मैं उसको 10,000 यूजर नेम पास करता हूँ, वन बाय वन सब ट्राई होगा और जो भी मेरा एक्चुअल यूजर नेम रहेगा मेरे को मिल जाएगा. ऑलराइट. दिस कैन बी अ सिनेरियो वन. So if possible, okay, fine, we can take one example right now. Maybe from fourth finger it is authentication. Fourth finger. Oh, cool. Just give me a minute. Wait a let me log in to my account, then we can proceed ahead. Cool, I mean. So entire screen and allow. So my screen is visible again. Fine. So I'm logged in and I want to what I want to do. I want to do authentication. Put the see there are like if you see the okay we can just go through with this also. What the fourth singer official documentation says regarding the broken authentication and all. What it says, what is the authentication and all, what is the difference between authentication and authorization. We just covered it yesterday also. What is the major difference between authentication and authorization? If anybody want me to repeat this, can just ping message in the chat box. How authentication and vulnerability arises, we had covered this also. And we are gonna cover that we're gonna cover this scenario one, the practical of that. All right. So we're gonna do this thing. We are responses. All right. Cool. A lab is vulnerable to enumeration. A lab is vulnerable to username enumeration and password brute force attack. It has an account with predictable username and password which can be found in the following word list. So here in this lab, they are providing us the word list for username as well as for password too. And what we have to do, we have to enumerate the possible username over here. So how are we gonna do that? First, let's access this lab. Alright, I'm gonna access this lab and I'm gonna trigger my worksheet also so that we can intercept and we can just brute force. Cool, I go to my account, temporary disk, start. I wanna trigger this build browser, intercept is off. Let me just open it over there. So yeah, this is a web application platform, and on this there is a login panel, and we want to enumerate the username of this of this web application. we know that here rate limiting is not present over here, and we want to like enumerate all the usernames and passwords of the user. So in short, we want to hack the credential. We want to log in from the user as an attacker. Like we want to log in from the legitimate user's credential by brute forcing it. So for that, what we can do, first intercept the request. Okay, I want to intercept on. I just try test user password text. Cool. I clicked on logged in. Here is a request where the test user and test is passing. I just send it to the repeater and forward it. Cool. Invalid username. Alright. What it's saying is invalid username. Like it is first checking the username. After that, it can check password or all. So right now, what is giving me back the response is invalid username. So what I gonna do? I will see the same request from my repeater. Here is the request. Okay. I want to do a brute force attack. So for that, I will send this to the intruder. Here in the intruder, this is a request. I'm gonna do brute force. I will clear all the places. I want to brute force first for the username. I will add here. Cool. On the payload section, like yeah, I can pass my custom payload, or else here they are already provided us with the payload list with the username list of usernames. All right. So we're gonna pass it here. This is the username list. Sorry. I want to pass it in the payload. Paste it all. So we had pasted all the usernames we got from that word list, and like we can do in a two ways. So as we see we are getting invalid username in the output. All right. So we can do what we can do, like in the grab matching. In the matching, we can clear all, and we want to only grab the one I want to add. I want to add this invalid username. So all the in from this. So what basically I'm doing from all this payload. This all are the payload I'm passing here. All right. So one by one, all these payload are gonna replace this test user at this position, and when there will be a response of every request, and from the response, I want to filter the responses containing invalid username. So like from here, all the requests will contain this invalid username except the one or except the number of requests which are having the valid username. All right. Like I hope so you got it. I gonna start the tag. Yeah, I'm starting one by one. All requests are gonna send. Cool. So we can like filter out from this. Okay. What is the response of that? The response is incorrect password of this alternate and other all. If we see like there is a response length we are getting, I guess we it doesn't classify on the basis of invalid username. All that not a big deal. So what we are getting in the response is that we had tried total okay, close it. Huh. So we had tried in total 101 requested has been sent to the server containing a username and a password. Total 101 what username I had just entered in the payload. I had passed over here, and from that 101, when I filter on the basis of length, the response length I'm getting back. The response length of all are same except the one we are getting in the first, that is 198, and here we are not getting any invalid username. What we are getting is incorrect password. Like our username is correct but password is incorrect. All right. So right now what we had done, we had just brute force. We got the user id, sorry, username present over there. So what we did, we got username is this. All right. Now we're gonna brute force for the password also in the similar manner. See, we know what the username is. All right, we know the username over here is this Ultrawind. And for instance, let's say I can show you if I pass the same username and any password like admin and login. Instead of invalid username, I'm getting incorrect password. All right. So what I have to do, I have to just put forth this password list. I will add the position over here, and in the payload, I'm gonna add another one. The list has been provided to us from their side. The lab already contain the password list, so we don't have to pass our own or custom word list. We can just pass this. Cool. I just copied and I here this. I will paste all. Fine. So we are just passing a 100 of requests containing. We are passing a 100 of 100 requests. Like there are 100 passwords present in this payload. We're gonna pass all over here, and the option in the graph format. What we'll do, we will pass invalid password. I don't know why it is not filtering, but still it should. Invalid password. I will add it. Cool. Number of thread is 5. These are the other things. Okay, fine. So we are gonna start it again. Here what happening is we are brute forcing our password since because you already know what the username was. Username was Alterwind. Alright. So the password is going on and on and on and on. There are number of passwords. And we just filter it on the basis of the response that we are getting. So as we see, the response time is already similar to 3195 3285. What the response was? Incorrect password 3285 3198. 170, the minimum one, and we got redirect to slash my account. So the password we discovered here is ABC123. As we see, when the password is tried ABC123, it is like to cross check, cross verify. What I will do, I will pass here Alterwind, and password will be ABC123 and login. Boom, I mean as an Alterwind. All right. So actually what happens here is why we are going why how like why we can just brute force this, because if I will try to brute force a similar manner on my Google account, I can't, because it will not I can't over there, because I know the rate limiting will be implemented over there, or else it will be blocking my IP address if I will try more than 5 or 10 times and all. So like still we can like brute force over this web application, just because here, just because as we go to our definition, the authentication are not implemented correctly, leading the attacker to gain authorized access. As I said right now, here as I said here, we are like we can brute force the username, we can enumerate the username and password, just because here also the same web application is not implemented correctly, because if it was implemented correctly, we can't brute force our passwords. All right. So right now we had covered our session 1, and cool, we can cover our scenario 2 also. So like assume application session time mode are not set correctly. Okay, so like before that, anybody having doubt in the session this scenario 1, like is everything clear for good for, should I, or like should I explain it again? If it is, just like comment yes or no or anything. So what if password which are stored in database were in hash format, then how we can how do we brute force? If it is in hash format also, like the thing is, we are brute forcing in the post login form. All right. So in post login form, we are passing in the password in the clear text. So at the server side, if it is stored in the hash format, so it depends on the server how it is configured. Either it gonna uh, it gonna encrypt the password which I am entering over here, like in the intercept also, as I said. Here I'm passing test. All right. So it depends, like either the server is gonna encrypt it and then match with the hash password, or else it gonna take it the same, or else decrypt that hash already stored hash password and then match it. So it's not from the client side, it's done from the like server side, because they are stored in the hash format. So either they can encrypt this password and then match with the value of that hash present in the database. All right. So because from the client side, we just always enter the password in the normal plain txt, and thing is the password should always like transmit over the https requests and all. So these things also matters. I hope like I cleared your question. Like we can just pass it in the clear text. Like this is a headache of like from the server side only. Cool. Anything else? Any other question? Or we can just go ahead. Fine. Let me go ahead. Let me proceed. We're gonna talk about the scenario two. So what it says in scenario two is like, assume application session timeout are not set correctly. A user uses a public computer to access an application. So public computer in the sense, let's say I went in a cyber cafe. In a cyber cafe, I used a computer, a public computer, to access some application, to access my Google account, to access my some another account or any account. Okay, I accessed that public computer. Instead of selecting logout, the user simply close the browser tab and walk away. An attacker can use the same browser and half hour later and the user is still authenticated. So what the scenario is, let's say I went to the cyber cafe, I open my I can take any computer over there, I just logged in into an application and I forgot to log out. I forgot to press on the logout. I closed the browser and I went away. Like this always happen. Like we taken the computer of our friends for downloading some PDF in college or some. Yeah, there are various other scenarios too, is similar to these. So it's always happen like we logged into our account, but we forgot to log out. So whenever we close the browser too, when user come, like another users come, he can open the same browser. He can access to our session. He can access to our account. So like this is a similar scenario. So what actually happen is the session ID must contain the expiry time. Like expiry time in the sense, what I mean is, let's say we just logged into this, right? Let me log in again. We can take this lab also for that. All for that, I want to just to show you. So the password we discovered was like Alterwind, right? Alterwind, and password was ABC123. If I'm not wrong, yeah, we are in. And if you see the cookie, a session is created over here. All right, a session is created over here. The session, once I logged in, a session is created. And when multiple time I just I refresh, a session, this session ID will be passed. Let me show you in the like Bob should also by intercepting. See, when I pass here my account, it redirected me to slash login instead of my account, because here in the cookie my session id is not stored yet. All right, the session id, if I show you more precisely over here, like in the advanced and session id, here also it doesn't contain any expiration. So if doesn't contain expiration time, so it's not gonna like expire from itself. Okay. Okay, so here also what we can do, like this session id actually, like it is similar to our password, id password. If I don't know your id password, I just get to know your session id. I can hijack your session, I can log in into the same account you are in without even knowing your password or anything. Okay, session hijacking we say it. So I can just show you this thing also within the same scenario. I can show you the practical session hijacking. So let's say this is a login credential. This is a web application platform. Okay, and we're gonna perform session hijacking. How? Okay, I'm gonna show you demo. So let's say I copy the link. I open my private window, and in private window, then I just go to access my account. I can't. What the scenario will be, I will just redirect to the login page because I am not logged in into private window. All right. While I am logged in the normal account. In normal account, if I refresh, I will get to my account only. Cool. What if I will just copy this session ID? Uh, I will just export, like I just cookie exported. I just copy this cookie of this browser. All right. I copied the cookie. Cookie contain the session ID. I go to the private window. I refresh. Still, I am logged out. Okay. I am not logged in. What I will do, I will go here. I will just import the same key. What the cookie contains, it contains my session name, ID of this domain and all. I import it. All right. And then I go to my account and I am in. Look, I don't even entered my email address, my password, my username, anything. I am in because I had passed the same cookie over here. So as I told you, as I showed you that also, get me back to my slide in this thing. Once I logged in, the server is creating a session ID and storing it at the client side only, the cookies in the cookie of the browser. Like cookie always stored in the browser. Now here we can clear our cookie and all. If I will clear the cookie, I will be logged out. I have to log in again and all. So cookie has been stored in the client side only. But after that, whenever any other request passes, instead of passing my username and password, the request will contain the cookie which contains the session ID, and this session ID authenticate me. It's like it's in the behalf of me, like I am the legitimate user and the request is legitimate. So this is the cookie. It contains my whole identity. If any attacker, any hacker, anyhow got the access to this cookie, he can just simply log in into your account, into your Facebook account, into your Google account, into everything, because all the account has been stored in the cookie only. All right. So similarly, what I did here in this account, I have already logged in. The cookie has been stored. As I showed you, there is a cookie containing session ID. I pass the same cookie over here in the private window, and I am logged in. Boom. All right. So any question regarding that? Any question regarding that? Anybody? No, like it's clear, I guess. So I hope so it's clear. As you are not like replying, okay, fine, it's clear, fine. So in this scenario, also the session ID must expire on time. Like we can just take the lapse of device also if it's enabled. Let me show you. Localhost login. It is not enabled. Okay. Okay, let me just turn it on. Just give me a minute. Fine, I am back. You can log into localhost. Install.php. Install the web. Web actually is a like a web application. It's already a buggy application. Like bug has been already implemented over here. So you just create a login ID here, naming Ashutosh, email ID, anything, test user at the test.com. Password will be admin, admin. Secret will be secret, admin. Okay, I will create the user is logged in from that using Ashutosh and password is admin. Login. So we're gonna access few of vulnerabilities of authentication if it isn't okay. There are few of authentication vulnerability presented. So we can start with initially the captcha bypass if it is okay. The captcha is loading. Refresh, 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 refresh. It is not loading properly. You can go for another. You can go for forward password or insecure login form. Okay, insecure login form is like a similar one we can say as we have not covered yet also this scenario is like is not actually found in the real world. If you hunt for insecure login form, it is like chances of like just 2 to 3% nowadays because everyone has been aware of this nowadays, but still it can be found. There's a chances to found this on a site. So what actually it is, the login form present over here. If I try anything, Ashutosh, I will not log in because of invalid credential. But as this login form is already vulnerable, is what we can do is like we can just go to the page source, and in the source code we can just look out for the login form where it was. Yeah, see, here is a form. The form present over here. This one. Okay, let me just inspect for you also so you can see the live. See, this is a login form, input field and the input field for password too. And here what happens is they had already printed the username in the source code, that is Tony Stark, and the password for same is already printed over here. I am Iron Man. So in insecure login form, like it's a bad practice always to to comment the ID password or such a sensitive data in a source code. So similarly, like this login credential, many times it's happened like developers forgot to like, remove the comments and they just mention the credentials, they mention the internal IP addresses and few other things in the source code. So while we are looking forward for any target, it can be a good practice to always look for its source code first, because still for doing a CTS and all, it can be a great practice. So right now I got a username written in the source code, that is Tony Stark, and the password over here is I am Iron Man. If I just copy it and paste the same over here in the login and the password input field, I'll just logged in and boom, I am in, because I just got to know the same from the source code and all. Similarly, if you go for another, or else we can just go forward using our port singer. After that, we can cover the port singer slab and all. There is a password attack. Here we can brute force. Okay, we can just cover using a port singer because they are already very basic over here in the WAP, because they already provided the debug credential. So in the password attack here, the scenario will be like what I can I can predict is the rate limiting will be not present over here, so that any user can come and do the password attacks by brute forcing the username and passwords. So as they are already provided the B and bug are the real password, so what we can do, we can just like for demonstration only, we can just pass here the password list of 1,000 passwords username, in which it also include B as well as in password control. It should contain bug and we just check the rate limit will not present over here, and we can just okay. I can show you the same over here too. Do you want me to like show this all of WAP, or should I proceed ahead with the code single labs only? Just let me know. Should I just demonstrate that, or I can just proceed ahead with the code single labs and all? Like yeah, we can do both. You can like see how the password attacks are happens. What are the different options happen in the group suite and all? Just let me know in the comment. Like just message you. Cool. Let me just proceed ahead then. Fine. There's a practical part only. We had covered all the basics. Again, we can proceed ahead with this. Or we can take some different one. So either yeah, I just remembered. I showed you in the like in PPT also the thing I forgot. Huh? Session ID expose the URLs or reuse of the session ID after login successful, or doesn't validate the session IDs properly. Like yeah, we can see the real life examples of this too. Like these things also happen in the real life, as I can show you in this web application also. So like as we see, if I go to like this session ID in URL, what you can see like session ID is already present in the URL, and as a user, as an attacker, if attacker is present into your network, he can just intercept the request, he can see your session ID, and he can pass the same session ID into their account, as I showed you right now. By like passing over here, I got from here he can pass the session ID. So like yeah, this can be also a vulnerability if you are hunting for, or else if you go for like next level or like medium set, so session ID is not present in the URL. So does it mean like they have secured it or what? So right now, if you look for the cookies also, the session ID has been stored in the cookie here. So like we can intercept the request. We can if we got it cookie, so we can like hijack the same session which has been running over here. And the next part which is mentioned here is reuse of session identifier after successful login. So what the scenario is like, as a user, let's say I went to google.com. Okay, simply not google, let's say I went to instagram.com. Okay, I went to instagram.com. Okay, so it will generate, there are few applications that generate the session ID before logging in and after logging in too, and there are few that generate session ID only after the authentication of user has been done. So there are both type of applications. So if you're talking about the applications which generate the session ID before and after, and if you look forward, like they have or not, no, they haven't. So there can be different applications that generate previously, like before logging in. So what the scenario will be, how that can be vulnerable. So let's say I want to log in yahoo.com, and yahoo.com is vulnerable to like this same scenario which mentioned here, like reuse session ID after successful login. So when I went to yahoo.com, let's say in a public computer, in a cyber cafe or anywhere else, I went to yahoo.com. Okay, I tried to log in. I went to yahoo.com normally, and the session ID will be ABCD or ABCD, and today's date is 24/07. Okay, that will be my session ID. For example, I'm just telling before logging in. This my condition was before logging in yahoo.com का session ID मेरा ये था. And once I logged in, instead of changing the session ID, it's just validating the session ID in the database. So after login, my session ID for yahoo.com will be same, ABCD 24/07. You can say like how can be this vulnerable, as I said instead. So like how can be this vulnerable, like in a public computer, I went as an attacker, I went on the computer, I just browse yahoo.com. I actually like I have access to the computer, so I can just see the session ID I stored over here. I stored in my mobile or somewhere else. I just copy it down in my pen in my books. Okay, then I just went away. Afterward, some other students or someone else come. He just went to yahoo.com. He logged in. Session ID is same. Okay, session ID is same right there. So the scenario is the normal user is logged in. Session ID doesn't change. So as an attacker, I can just see what the normal user is doing over there. Alright. So the actual scenario should be before and after logging in, the session ID should be changed. And that can be a best practice, isn't it? So this can be a scenario, and next thing it doesn't correctly validate session IDs. So it can be a scenario like either I am changing the numbers of session ID, it's still verifying me. I can change manipulate the cookies in order to like authenticate myself. There is a lab in Portugal also for that for the same. Let me check the chat box. So everything is clean. Whew, fine. We can access the different labs. We can solve them. We had just done this. On the base of password based labs, what other mention over here is what right now we had done is we had logged in, we had just put forth the username and password in user enumeration in the same. It can be done on the basis of like subtitle. So subtitle as I showed, what happened here is, see, the scenario was same as we covered this one. Sorry, let me just go back. Okay, similarly the scenario will be same, and in the pursuit only, as we filtered on the basis of response time, we can filter on the basis of subtitles. Like, let me just do it for you. I will access the lab. So what we see here. Cool. So I'm here. I will just copy the link, open my browser and browser. Here I will paste the link. This is a vulnerable page. I want to access. Back to description because I also have to access of the candidate username and candidate password list. So these are the username and these are the passwords. I open the new tab. So these are the list of usernames and these are the list of passwords. So in the same thing, still we have to like enumerate username enumeration. The topic itself, sir, we have to enumerate the username. The similar we had done before. What we have to do, like I will just account. I will go to the my account. Okay, in my account, I will just do anything random. Okay, admin. I just tried admin, logged in. Cool. Username or password is incorrect. I will went to HTTP request. Okay, just see a username or password is incorrect. All right. So there can be a scenario like should there can be a two or three scenarios like either should I try the only passwords, either should I try only username, or should I try both at the same time, right? Like both can be possible, no? We can do if I see on the login page, this post request of login. Yeah, because in previous case, what was happening is user invalid username was separate alert, separate error, and invalid password was a separate error. But right now, what we are getting is invalid username or password. So it's not correcting like either your username is wrong or either your password is wrong. So we have to try both as a same at a same time. Cool. Now how we can do this is just go there. I will send the same request in the intruder. The position or says these are the positions. I will clear all. All right. I will just first. Okay, first let us try both. First, we will like enumerate the usernames. If it works, then fine. Or else we can try both at the cluster bombing. Cool. I will just copy a whole. These are the list of usernames. We have to brute force. Just copied. Alright. I will end here in the password list. I will paste the whole passwords, whole usernames. Sorry. And in this option where the error has been grabbed, what I will do, I will just try to like filter on the basis of this subtitle, the subtitle in the response. So I want to filter the request based on the subtitles. I added it successfully, I guess. So where it is gone, grab match. Here I have this. Cool. So what we will do now, we will just go the payload and start the attack. Let's see what happens. We are getting 504. Still we are getting 504. Hmm. So either we are doing wrong. Okay, cool. What we can do is like here we are getting 504 in all. Like we just tried the same passwords and we just brute force the username right here. And we just pasted the same username, I guess. So we just pasted the same. Yes, we just pasted the same usernames. Cool. So we should get the different status code or different length. Okay, we just classify on the basis of this invalid username string. So in all of that, there can be an invalid username string, I guess. Invalid username string is there. Invalid username or password. It will be there so that we have to like now perform maybe a cluster bombing. So how it works? Okay, there is 504 error time gateway timeout. That's why I was thinking 504 is there. Cool. Let's showing us timeout. Fine. That can be a old request if I'm not wrong. Let me just intercept the request again. I will go to intercept. I will turn on the intercept, and here I will try anything like admin and admin. I entered. This is my intercept. This is my request. I just forwarded this request in the intruder. Here is the intruder. Here's the positions. All right, all right, all right. So the thing is, here we are using different one, I guess. So right now, what happens is we just get a request correct one. Here in the admin, I will add one dollar sign, like we have to randomize the username over here. In the payload section, what I will do, I will pass the list of payloads which has been given to us, provided to us. I will just pass whole. And in the option section, what I will do, I will just grab the request on the basis of username and password, as similar we had done just now. So what happened here is when I start the attack, I should not. I'm getting 200 right now. So now the request has been sending. So before that, what happening is that we are sending the same request on the older history, like we had got the request from the HTTP history, right? So in HTTP history, there was a request we has been like tried earlier of that request. That's why we are getting 504. Right now, we are sending request and when finished. If we filter on the basis of invalidity, like length, cool, acid, it also contain inverse. We will get one with the invalid option of it will not, then we have to just force both of them. Okay, so in the every responses there is an invalid. You can just do a cluster bombing over here too, and we can add the password field. All right, and in the payload section, what we can do, we can in the payload set 2, we can pass the password list provided to us. It may take time, but it will. Okay, I had already in the new tab the list of the passwords. Such irritating to copy this all. Hmm. Cool. There can be a option if it is not. You can consider. I'll paste. I will start the attack. How much it gonna try? It gonna try cool 10,000 requests. Wow. So we can have a while it will going on in the backend. I can increase the thread over there so it can just do fast. Can happen faster. The error section I had already stored that. No, I haven't. So I have to store this invalid user ID and password. Add. It is there. We can start over this. There is a error section. Whew, it may take time, but actually what happen is like I can show you the brief. What will happen? We will just try to brute force the username as well as password also, and we are here filtering on the basis of this. So in the response, when where this subtitle will be not present, then that response can be filtered out. Or we can get the actual user ID and password. Let it be. It will be happening in the back end. We can just till then instead of waiting, we can proceed ahead is an enumeration via response timing. So there are three things. First one is an enumeration via different responses. Here we are just inspecting the responses we are getting. In the second lab, we are just filtering on the basis of subtitles. So there can be a chances like in a few applications. If I logged in, I get some different subtitles like invalid username or please try again. So I can just filter on the basis of that errors, and the responses having that error can be filtered out, and the one left out doesn't having that error can store or correct credentials. All right. So in third one, what we are doing, we just enumerating same username but via response timing. So how it matters, like if our request or correct ID password we are entering and it's showing us 301, then but obviously it will take less time to response, right? To respond, so we can just filter out the request on the basis of response timing, and still we can get we can filter out the correct ID and correct passwords. All right. So if we move ahead, what we see is like flawed brute force protection. What actually this like here, if we read out, we will get to know that in many cases it's shown that here if rate limiting is applicable is implemented over there. All right, if rate limiting is over there, so what happens is like every time if I will try to log in, if multiple login requests will be sent, the server will just block my IP. Like this IP seems malicious, I gonna block this IP so that he can't try to like retry and retry and retry. All right, so it will just block our request. Okay, so what we can do, I can show you the lab, or else what we can do. Okay, we can just do two things. If there be not a long, okay, there not one, two, three, four. Ah, we can take this. Is there any other IP block and that one? So we can access the lab, and here if you see in the hint, what it's saying that advanced user may want to solve the lab by using macro or turbo instruction. However, it is possible to solve without these features. Brute force IP block. So what actually it does is like whenever we try to brute force using winner and Peter, it always block our IP addresses. All right, but we have to find out the credentials of victim. So what the actual macro is, the feature it's showing us to do using macro, like we can solve the same lab using these features present in the bob suite. If you go in the bob suite, what we see, wait a minute. Oh, it's happening. Okay, it's still happening. There a lot of time it will take. I just close it out, and we can go project option and connection. I guess it's here only where it goes macros. Yeah. Here we see a macro. Macro is what like let's say there is a application, and on every request, every 2 to 3 requests, it changes its CSRF token. So what we can do, we can create a normal function like after 2 to 3 requests, it will repeat itself. Like let me give you an example. If you go to like proxy and HTTP request history, there can be 2 or 3 requests like login, then this, get a header, and then post login. Okay, so what I can do, I can just automate in Suite, like I can automate these 2 requests, that after these 2 requests should be sent simultaneously. From first request, that is get CSRF token of, for example, get CSRF token, we can get the token, and into second token we can second request we can pass the same token as a point of, as a source of, like as a to like proof or identity authentication. So we can pass the same token so that our request can be authenticated and we can get the content we want to, or else we trying to brute force. Okay, so similar way we can try this lab. It's opening. Let me just check the chat box. If anybody having doubt, they can just unmute themselves and ask me the questions directly, because I'm just checking them out chat box after few times. Like yeah, you can copy the request. Just fire the bubs again because it contains lots of different requests. You can close it out too. Great. So we are going to launch the website. Okay. So we're going to log trying this lab out in the website only. We're gonna enter the equation. We can check like how it's happening, what's doing actually. To try out the same over here. Let's say our password is this, and Okay, I got muted. Fine. So here password given is the winner and Peter. If you just logged in over here, winner, चला winner इसका ID password सबको पता है, and Peter, I just logged in. I mean, I can see the request. I can just intercept it. All right. Here is my account. I will just log out. What the statement says is like the lab is vulnerable due to logic flaw in it brute force protection. So like the lab is configured in such a way it can protect against the brute force by IP block, and to solve the lab we have to brute force the victim's account. All right. So when I try to log in with my same IP after 2 to 3 tries, let's see what happens. Winner in password I will type admin. Enter. Direct password. Again winner and admin. Incorrect again. Let me try 2 to 3 times. Let's see what happens. Okay. I can show you what admin. Correct. Winner. See what it does is you have too many attempts. Please try again after 1 minute. So here it is blocking my IP after 4 to 5 tries, so after 3 to 4 tries. All right. So it is blocking my IP for the 1 minute, and after 1 minute, the it will reset automatically. Like it will reset the time period, so I can try again. So it does similarly as we see in our like Android phones too. If you try for like more than 2 to 3 times, it will block. It will block the attempts. It will say like you have done too many attempts. Please wait for the next 30 seconds and all. Similarly, we can wait here for the next 1 minute, and while it's there we can't logged in. So if we are doing the brute force attack, let's me just type the correct password winner and Peter. We can't because you have made too many attempts. We have to wait for 1 minute over here. So we have to just bypass this thing also. Let me just wait like for 1 minute. Till then I just drink a water. All right, till this 1 minute ends. Wait, I just drink water. Then we can proceed. And Mhm. Just give me a minute. All right. Whew. So we are back. We are gonna try to like attempt the login for this Carlos. Carlos is your victim right now. So how we can try? Because if we try for Carlos more than 3 times, it will block us. So I mean Firefox, not in Chrome. Alright. So we can just show you. If I try for Carlos like Twitter and all, first time incorrect password. Right. When I press again, it will show me incorrect password. 2 attempts you did. Just remember the number of password we are doing, number of tries, and again we do for Carlos and again wrong password. We have done 3 wrong passwords. Now Carlos, and if you do for password admin, we have done 4 and okay. So after every 3 or 4, after 4 requests, like 3 wrong and four wrong requests, it will block our IP. All right. So how we can just mm, how we can bypass it? Like any idea, anybody? How we can bypass it? Any idea? You know what is authentication? Do you have any idea how what we can do here, or what? Just say yes or no. Like you can just unmute yourself and say two. I'm audible, right? Okay, Rehan, no idea, not a thing. Like we can just try it out. Let me refresh the page. Cool. What I'm noticing over here is like, let me try again. I will try for like winner. All right. No, so let me try. Let me do a thing. Carlos, 1 2 3 4 5. Enter the wrong password. One. We tried first time. All right. Again, we will try Carlos, and password will be 1 2 3 4 5. Two. We try second time, and Carlos. We tried for third time. Yeah, 1 minute. And when I just refresh the page, okay, it's not. Mm, okay, it's still there. Okay, I thought like, yeah, it has been bypassing from this also. So we can just intercept the request also in the bucket where it's born. I have to enter in the proxy and open the browser. Turn the intercept off. What if? What if I will do like, let's say I go for Carlos. Okay, not here in the Firefox only we can check. I am getting like a bypass for this. What if? Because after consecutive four wrong attempts, it is blocking our request. All right. After consecutive four wrong requests. All right. What if after three requests I will pass here the correct details, and again I will try attempt for the next three, then pass the correct, the next three, then correct. Does it work? We can see like, yeah, if it works or not. Let's just see. Try. Okay. Let me just refresh the page again. I'm asking what if. Okay, so let's just try Carlos. I will try 1 2 3 4 5 because like Carlos 1 2 3 4 5. We attempt two. Shit, man. Let me just do in the here only. Carlos 1 2 3 4 5. Press on login. Intercept is off. It is a wrong attempt. Okay, it's blocking my IP permanently. Cool. So IP contains each and every. So there can be two methods. Like we can just randomize our IP address, or else we can bypass this thing too. Uh, there is a trick. Like what I can do, instead of trying for three, what if I will try for one only? Uh, wait. Wait. We will wait for next 1 minute. Then we can try to bypass this thing. Cool. It's gone right. So first time if I enter the Carlos 1 2 3 4 5, ideally it is wrong password. After that, I enter in the my account. I'm logged in. All right. Then I will again log out, and again I will try for Carlos 1 2 3 4 5. First attempt Carlos 1 2 3 4 5, and it's going. Wait. My network connectivity is slow. The intercept is off. Right. No, my internet connectivity is great. Just refresh. Cool. 2 times. Then after again, if we try for winner, instead of trying, what we can do, we can just send the same request again from Bobsuit where it on winner. This one is winner's request. We will send the repeater. We will try for winner and 302, like we got successfully login. All right. And from the request only, if I will like try for that Carlos, this is the Carlos one. Okay. I will send in the repeater. And first attempt, we are getting wrong password. Okay. Currently we are doing R&D, like how we can just bypass. We are doing the like we are trying it out. We are sent again. Again we got wrong, incorrect password. All right. When we try again, third attempt, we remembered we got please try again for 1 minute after the fourth wrong attempt. Here we did three wrong attempts. Again, if I pass Carlos, my IP will get banned for next 1 minute. But instead, if I pass this one, correct credential. Okay, I pass the correct credential of winner and Peter. Cool. So it blocks my IP on third attempt only, not fourth. So after two consecutive wrong attempt, I have to pass first the correct one. Alright, we got the bypass here. We have to try the brute force attack two at a time. Then after that, again log in with the correct one. Alright. So how we can automate this, because we just can't brute force a macros to automate this. So we have to macros. So what actually macros is, here what mentioned is a macro is a sequence of one or more requests. You can use macro while session handling rules to perform tasks such as login into application, offering NTCSR token, etc. So like if I show you the macro more specifically here, the documentation what it says is like a macro is a predefined sequence of one or more requests. So we have to just sequence the request in such a way, like let me show you. We open the mouse pad, that is better. Cool. So we have to sequence our request in such a way, like let's say I am writing here W for wrong attempt and R for C for correct attempt. That is login. So we have to sequence in such a manner WWC, WWC, WWC. So we can bypass and we can just brute force multiple time for the Carlos only. All right. We have to sequence our request in such a manner so that we can bypass the IP blocking system, IP blocking mechanism over here, not system. Sorry, IP blocking mechanism which implemented over here. We have to pass our request in such a manner. So how we can do this? Have anybody used macros previously? Let us close the documentation. Open the chat box. One new message. The screen is not visible. Cool. 8:46, like from last 1 minute. Just give me a second. Why don't you all just unmute your mic and told me, because I just went on and on. I didn't notice it. Whew, now it's visible. Just ping me yes or no. My screen is visible now. Great. So where was I? Like you haven't seen. मैं last time कहाँ पे था आपने? ठीक है. Let me just repeat again. What I was telling is like in repeater type we can see. Yeah, sorry. Here repeater. If I log in with the correct credential, as you can see, the credential mentioned over here is winner and Peter. All right, winner and Peter. If you just log in with the correct credential, it's still waiting. Yeah, 302 found, like slash my account पे redirect हो रहा है. We are logged in successfully. And the thing is, I will block our IP if we like multiple requests, multiple wrong attempt, I guess. So if you try again and again for the same request, logged in, logged in, logged in. Like I can send multiple requests or the correct using the correct ID and password. The correct ID password is winner and bidder. But still, if I send the request, the wrong request, like the containing the wrong ID and password, like Carlos is the correct one, but password is wrong. So if I send this request, what we will get in the output is we will get uh, this one incorrect password. All right, let me just highlight it. We are getting this incorrect password. Wait, let it be. So still, if we send this incorrect password more than two times, like if you send the incorrect password consequently, like back to back, three times in a row, then it will block our IP for the next 1 minute. So how we can bypass it? Like what if it is it? What if we send the request in this manner? Like here, W is representing wrong and C is representing correct password. All right. So what if we send the request in such a manner that it is visible, right? So that two wrong, then one correct, again two wrong, then one correct, again two wrong, then one correct, two wrong, then one correct. Because we know the correct password ID, we know the correct ID password for winner, but we don't know the wrong ID password for Carlos. All right. So we can bypass this IP blocking mechanism in this way. So we're gonna try this out. We have to sequence our request in such a way. Okay. So for that, I send this to the intruder, the wrong one. Cool. I send it to the intruder. This is the thing I want to brute force for the wrong password. And resource. Oh, we have to add more. For that, we have to create a macro. We can create one. Hmm. We can create a macro, or else what we can do, we can just brute force from here only. Hmm. Using pitchfork, I guess so. Or else we can create a macro too. We can send the request to a manner. Cool, we can try both. We can try for both. Okay. Option. We got the false ID password reduction. What is that? Like let it be. We can create a macro, add a macro. I want to intercept the request named. Which one is this? So I don't want this. I want to post request of Carlos as well as Carlos, and this one is Carlos. Where is winner? Cat not. I want post request of Carlos, winner, and Peter. So I want this as well as this. I want this to request. Carlos, Carlos. All right. It contains Carlos. Remove. Let me again add it one. Re-record macro. So we have taken these two requests. One is of winner and Peter, and another is of that Carlos 12345. We'll test the macro when winner Peter goes requesting item 1 and this one also. Great. Okay, when it goes, we got 302, that is we got successfully login. And when this request gone, that is our Carlos, we got the response as incorrect password. Right? Okay. Okay. We added one micro. We want to use it in resource pool. Where it gone? Wait a minute. Let it go. I can't recall where was the resource pool in this tab. Let me just find it out. Or like we want to add the sniper from there. Is setting. Whew, fine, fine, fine. We just proceed ahead with. Okay, here it is. Cool. I can't recall where we are it. Like, how can we just import the macro over here? Oh, what was the name? Sorry. let it be. Just if I can just recall how can we just configure a macro over here. Still we can just try to do it through intruder 2. Like we have to just send the sequence in such a manner to bypass the request, to bypass that mechanism. All right, so what we can do, you can just send the request from intruder, like yeah, wait, we can just go here, can perform the pitchfork manner, and in the payload I will just pass here, there was a payload for Carlos. You just pass here the payload. These all are the payload list. I just copied it out, pasted in the buffer search. Yeah, pasted all the payloads. Still will be added at list 2. Sorry, in list 2 I will add this all. Sorry, I just added wrong one, I guess. So I just copied this, no? Okay, I just copied that also. That's what I'm saying, why it's showing me wrong one. I just copied the whole the payload. Alright. And I clear it out and I just paste. So there are total 100, and if you see the positions we wanna try for password, that is second one. All right, the second one we wanna try password list. Okay, and we want to highlight this incorrect password. How we can do this is going to option, wrap manner, incorrect password is that added. Cool, it is. Now we can do it multiple thread of 10. Like, okay, fine, we can do it with thread of 3 at a time. Sorry, 2 at a time. We send a single request. Great. What left is send this. We haven't added the payload for first. Either what we can do, cool. First one I will add this. I will clear it out. I will add winner. Sorry, spelling is wrong. WINER, winner, and Carlos. Carlos is right spelling, right? You are doing correct one. Carlos. So we still, because I haven't find out, like I can't recall how we can add the macro in it. Like yeah, we can see the recommendation, but I didn't. So still there is another matter. Like we can just manipulate the attack vector. Like we have to pass the request in such a way, like winner, then Carlos, then winner, then Carlos. So still what we can do, we can just brute force this Carlos username and password in such a way, using a pitchfork manner. So in payload 1 we are adding winner and Carlos. All right, so let me just copy it down both and new. If I see there are 100 of requests. All right, so first one is winner, the second one is Carlos. So I will just copy and paste hundreds of time. No, I'm not gonna do this. Winner. Carlos, copy, paste. We want just 100 requests, not more. Cool. So I just added here winner, Carlos. Or else what we can do, we can make it in a way like Carlos, then after winner, again Carlos, then after winner. So both are one and the same thing. We can do in the same manner. So still, we had passed this one, and in the password section, what we have to do, we have to craft in a such a way that once here the like see the first word is winner. So we have to just pass here like the thing the password list we are passing here. We have to craft in such a manner so that it goes in a simultaneous manner, like the first will go in the correct one for Carlos and second one will go for Peter, that is for winner. All right, copy. I will enter a paste. I will enter a paste, paste. Cool. So there will be, I hope so, like 200 of requests and hundreds of like that usernames or passwords will be created for I am doing here the hard coded manner for brute forcing, but still we can automate this using that macro. I just can't recall how to like configure a macro with that, but still I will just show you that too. I have to read the documentation again. So we have crafted all total of that much request to the moon. Just copy this all and paste in the brute force. Remove all, paste, and we will positions. We're gonna start. Cool. Winner is getting wrong one, and winner is getting wrong, and failure getting faster. Cool. So we have to pass the first one as a blank also. So we have to pass first as blank also. First as Peter. First one will be Peter. All right. Now it makes sense. We can paste it here, and we can again target the request. Banner and Peter. The response will be, what the response currently is. Okay, we are already blocked, so we have to wait for next 1 minute to get unblocked. Cool, we can do it as we had waited for the last 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. We can wait for the next 1 minute also. Till then, I can show you the documentation of like using macros in website in intruder. Then macros function is like very simple, like because the thing we are doing in a hard coded manner is like very headache, and it may like uh, it irritates a lot. Like yeah, we can just automate the things. So why don't we? In we can go add macros. We added the same thing. Macro editor. We added all. We created the macros. Session handling rules. Run a post macro. Okay, we didn't added this session handling rules. All right. You all can just go through this documentation. Till then, we can just brute force here because right now we have got unblocked. So we can start the request. First, let us verify it. Yeah. See, as now the multiple requests are going on. First is Venner, that is 200. Then Venner and Peter, that is correct one. On the correct one, we are getting 302. All right, because it is correct ID and password. Another is Carlos. Carlos, we are trying to attempt with wrong password. So because here IP is blocking after consecutive three wrong attempts, so we can automate it like in a such a manner like after two attempts, it will reset our quota of that like wrong attempts, so that the brute forcing will not happen in such a manner, so that it can like it will not block our IP. So right now we are getting the same. Okay, we have to wait for a while. Why it's going so slow? Okay, I have number of threads I've given 35. Fine, I can just fast it up. Stop this. I can fast it up with the 5 threads, 5 to 10 threads. Not getting fast. Soon we will get to know the real ID and password of the Carlos, and we will get in by entering that same ID and password. We will get right now. Wait, going and going and going. We see here 302 200 302 200 going right, but after that I will be getting 200 for all. Any guess why it is so? Because I get to know in this why it's happening. So after 25, like from 26 only, I have my IPs got blocked. You can see from here only 22 only. Actually, it should be done from here. Cool. You know why it is so? Because as I said, uh, it is happening just because I have applied here 5 thread, like 5 multiple requests at a time, and it is blocking our IP after consecutive 2 to 3 requests. All right, consecutive 3 requests. So, if 5 users are attempting to log in at the same time, and they consecutive like tried 5 different passwords, wrong passwords, so it will block our request, which is happening right now. So we have to just send only 2 requests at a time. Like yeah, in the real life also, when you do bug hunting and all, you have to just look over that. You have to first understand the mechanism, like what's actually happening behind the scene, what actually happening behind that login mechanism, what actually going on there. And once you got to understand, like yeah, there is blocking my request after 2 3 requests, after 2 wrong attempts, so you can like bypass that too. And after bypassing, you can get access to your victims and all. So yeah, this can be possible just because of business their logic flow, not business logic, but that logic flow over there, because the logic they had implemented, the developer has implemented on that side, is that it should block the request only after 2 consecutive false attempts. not only two consecutive false attempts. That's why. So right now 55 plus request has been gone. It's been going correctly as you see. 302, 200, 302, 200. So we are successfully brute forcing the Carlos account. All right. Like anybody having any question? We initially tried entering using that macro, but unfortunately, I can't. Like I've just go through the that documentation again, but still, we managed to like brute force attack on this web application. Still, if they are blocking our IP address too on false attempt, so till now I am getting the same length 3225 3225 and winner Peter 3225. We had sent only 84 requests, so we have to wait until it happens 100. Anybody having any doubt or anything like you don't understand or want me to repeat or something? Cool. It's again blocked our IP after 85. After how many requests blocks our IP? After I guess so from here now. So we are not gonna try this much again. So what we can do, we can just shortlist or word list also right away from this. Mm, we are getting the correct till there until there until there. We are getting the correct one, correct one, correct one. 173 173 College is the correct spelling if I am not wrong. Mm, Carlos, correct spelling, and it stopped over here, right? 330, that is 86. That is when we tried Batman from password. So from password list, we can just find Batman where it is. It is from 87. The seventh request we got failure. So from 87, we can just copy it all, copy to new, and paste it out. So okay, and after this, we got that. Let's send consequently that much request. So this much left out, so we can brute force again using that this filtered. Okay, this filtered request, filtered word list actually. We'll go to worksheet again. We go to positions, sorry, payloads, and second one I will remove all, and I will just paste this from Batman. Okay, and in the first one, okay, in the first set that is the username. The first one is winner, no? So I will just remove this winner from there. So first post is for Carlos. So after that, I will start the tag 200 302 200 302 200 302. Is going in the consecutive manner. What's blocking an IP again? Valid is the name, and for winner it shows incorrect password. Okay, from here it just changed out after Charlie. So we have to add Charlie where it is. Cool. Mistake is from our end only. Can start it over. Clear all. Paste the request and start again. Okay, we have to wait for next 30 seconds. Okay, cool. Like you got the idea how it's happening. Like we have to wait for another 1 second. After this attack, we will get to know the password of these two, and we can solve this lab again. So like you can try it out from yourself only, because if you want me, no, sorry, you can make the password list again. So what happened right now? Huh? Fine. It will be after 1 minute. If you'll start the attack, we will get to know the password of the Charlie, because that will be already like filtered out. Still, if you see like the one we had done previously, if you check that also, we get to know all the Carlos with 302 we have to find, but there is no Carlos with 302. Cool. So we have to just wait. We have to wait for 1 minute and restart the request. This request, so that we can get to know the actually password and we can complete our this lab. Is filtered out on the basis of this, and in the section of 302 we get only winner. Cool. So the password must be from this remaining password list. There will be one password and we have to restart this attack. So fine, I hope so like you got the idea of how it's happening and what we have to do. Still my charge is slow, is less. I have to just go forward. It is started. No, it's not. Still my IP is blocked, so I have to wait. Cool. We can move ahead if you want. Like, anybody having question? Like, is there anything you don't understand or what? I'm audible, right? My mic is on. Yeah, I'm audible. Anybody having any questions or something? Hello. Oh, cool. So if you see, we are about to complete this one, and similarly there are few other labs too where the IP block has been done, and other all are similar to that only. Multiple credential request. This one is like cool one, because in this what happening is the multiple credential for request. So what actually it says, like if I will give you example right now, if you see the repeater, the in the JSON for it is normal request we are sending in the data format, all right. But still, if you send like username equals to this, comma 5259, comma this, comma this, like we can send a multiple request, multiple passwords in the same request of the of that of particular request. Like we can just forge it and manipulate it accordingly. So like if we see like if you see this, if we access this lab also, we can combination in the same manner. I just go to start this and go to intruder, proxy, intercept, let it still my IP is blocked. I will just go here. It is my account. multiple credential per request it's showing. So like when I will try to log in as the Carlos and I will pass the admin, I intercept the request and I send it, we can see that the request is going in a JSON format over here. All right. So what actually our problem statement was, if we go to the back to the lab description, the lab is vulnerable to the logic flow in which brute force attacks production. To solve the lab brute force Carlos, then access the account page. We have to brute force for the Carlos and we have to access its account as always. Cool. You can go ahead and send this request in the repeater and just forward the request. Intercept will be off. And what is the response is invalid username and passwords. And what else they had provided us in the lab is the candidate password list. And what is in is there's a list of the password. Right. You copy out all the password list. Get. So we can see in the repeater also, if you pass the request, showing invalid username and password. All right. We send the request. Send the request into intruder. Or else here only we can pass it over because it is in JSON format. What we can do, we can just pass here the list of we can pass here the list of passwords in such manners. Okay, it was in JSON format only. So let me just pass here, not here. We can pass it from there. Okay, and comma from here we can just craft or read. Okay, I'm gonna try this out in the cherry tree because the option new instance. I will make one cherry test here. Okay, it's not the proper matter. Cool. These all are our passwords, right? So we want it in a that what we say. We want this all password in JSON format. All right. So there are two, three JSON format to just pass in a request. What we will do, we will just add it all. Actually, the thing is we have to pass it in this manner. Between that, okay. So we have to add the add semicolon. Sorry, this apostrophe before and after all the passwords. I'm gonna just select all the ones. I'm gonna do it on the online JSON for we can. Okay, it's editor, not compose converter. We have to make in string. What we can do? I'm not gonna pass it manually. Yeah, that's so headache. Or else I will do it in the VS Code. Cool. So here I can just pass this, and after this I can just at the ending of all in the last one. Okay, it's checking that one. Fine. What we can do, we can just add from here. If you want, you can do it from here only, no? Cool. We can do it from there on. So we take whew, copy it out. Cool. So right now we had make a JSON format of the passwords, and we gonna pass this same in Bobsuit from here. We are passing the same. Thus we are doing the something else. We have to close it out and send. Okay. I will send it. Okay, I have to send it in a few minutes. Cool. Cool. All taking such a large number altogether. Pass in a few minutes. Like we pass that much only. Does it take? So our original response was same, if I'm not wrong. Cool. Our original response was same. Password equals to admin, comma Carlos. Cool. When we take this in the repeater, we are getting this. If you want to pass in the string format, in a list of word, we have to pass such in such manner. Comma, screen share. No, it must take two or three at least. Okay, are we passing something different? So basically, what it says, let me just read out the statement again. We go back in this one, authentication vulnerability. We will go into that. That was here. Okay, let me just copy this string out. And that is not your laptop slot. Shit. Hello Nidhi. Am I audible?
Yes.
Actually, laptop just shut down. Can we just continue after half an hour or like 1 hour? Like currently electricity is not here. I don't know power cut off is there.
Okay.
Can we continue this like after half or 1 hour later? Like it will
Yeah,
be
yeah.
done. We can continue from
Yeah,
here
okay.
only.
Oh, okay, okay. No issue.
It can be done, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Sure. Actually, I'm from my phone and my laptop just shut down. So students, we can just continue after 1 or half hour. I will just let you know once electricity comes. Hello.
Yes.
I will just let you know once electricity come at home, right?
Yeah.
Fine.
Hello, am I audible to you guys? Hello. Yeah, so we are having a 15 minutes drinks break today. And due to power failure, Ashutosh sir won't be able to continue the session, but Kiran sir will handle the session from now. So I am keeping a timer for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, please join the session. And many of the participants have left the meeting. So tell your friends to rejoin the meeting, and we'll resume the session after 15 minutes. Thank you. Please tell your friends to rejoin the session. We'll be starting in 30 minutes. Kiran sir, are you there in the meeting?
Yeah, sure. One second. Let's check.
Yeah, wait, I'll ask the co-host.
And just a minute. I'm just setting up the environment, and then we will start. Okay.
Yes, okay.
So, so basically, there was an electricity outage in the speaker's environment. We can say, or we can say area. So he won't be able to continue. But I will try to take up the session. Okay. Just give me 2 minutes. I will be sharing the screen and starting the continuous session. So hello everyone. Hello. Is everyone alive?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Hmm. So can someone brief out what exactly has been conducted till now? Anyone who would like to summarize the topics which has been taught till now? In short, no one? So let me do one thing. Let me just go to the presentation once and just summarize everything. Okay. So initially it was broken authentication, in which you might be have seen like how exactly what exactly authentication is and what exactly authorization is. लाइक हाउ लाइक ऑथेंटिकेशन क्या होता है ना, ऑथराइजेशन क्या होता है, ये तो आपने देख लिया रहेगा स्टार्टिंग में ही। उसके बाद आपको एक ओवरव्यू आ रहा है कि ऑथेंटिकेशन में क्या होता है कि हम एक पर्सन को ऑथेंटिकेट करते हैं बेस्ड ऑन अ डिफरेंट सिनेरियोस। आई थिंक दिस इज नॉट, हाँ। सो जैसे कि जिससे हम जान सकते हैं कि वो पर्सन कौन है, उसके पास क्या है और वो किस चीज के ऑथराइज है। फॉर एग्जाम्पल जब भी हम कोई भी यूजर नेम पासवर्ड डालते हैं या फिर कोई भी क्रेडेंशियल्स पास करते हैं, तो सर्वर को हमें आइडेंटिफाई कैसे करता है, जैसे कि ये अकाउंट मेरा है या ये अकाउंट आपका है या फिर किस चीज का है, किस पर्सन का है। तो बेसिकली एक होता है सेशन के बेसिस पे या फिर आपका यूजर नेम पासवर्ड जनरेट करते हो। तो इसमें अलग टाइप का ऑथेंटिकेशन मैकेनिज्म होते हैं, जैसे कि हम पासवर्ड कुछ लोग प्लेन टेक्स्ट में भेजते हैं, कुछ लोग सेशन के फॉर्म में रखते हैं, कुछ लोग की के अंदर सेशन कर सकते हैं। Whereas on the other hand, some also use like unique hashes which is generated by your password or content basically. So अलग टाइप पर, एंड इसमें होता है कि समथिंग विच यू हैव लाइक समझ लो कि आपका एक पर्टिकुलर चीज के लिए आप एक पर्टिकुलर चीज के लिए ऑथराइज हो बट बाकी सब चीजों के लिए ऑथराइज नहीं हो। सो हम ऑथेंटिकेशन एंड ऑथराइजेशन, देयर आर टू डिफरेंट टर्म्स। ऑथेंटिकेशन इन मीन्स लाइक वो चेक करना कि वेदर ये क्रेडेंशियल्स बराबर है कि नहीं, तुम्हारा ऑथेंटिकेशन प्रॉपर हो रहा है कि नहीं। ऑथराइजेशन क्या है, जो हमने प्रीवियस ब्रोकन एक्सेस, जो हमने ब्रोकन एक्सेस कंट्रोल एंड बाकी चीजों में देखा था, उसमें ऑथराइजेशन चेक करना। अभी ऑथराइजेशन क्या है, वेदर यू एक्चुअली ओन दिस पर्टिकुलर स्टफ और नॉट। समझ में आ रहा है? ऑथेंटिकेशन मतलब क्या, कि ये क्रेडेंशियल्स बराबर है कि नहीं चेक करना है। ठीक है, वही ऑथराइजेशन क्या है, वेदर यू ओन दिस पर्टिकुलर थिंग और नॉट। फॉर एग्जांपल मार्कशीट ऑफ किरण सर, और फिर हम महादेव सर की बात करते हैं। महादेव सर के मार्कशीट्स जो है वो महादेव सर ओन करते हैं। अगर समझ लो कि महादेव सर का मार्कशीट को एक्सेस करना है, वो महादेव सर के पास एक्सेस है। यहाँ पे हम कोई क्रेडेंशियल्स वगैरह की बात नहीं कर रहे। यहाँ पे एक चीज है, ये कोई डेटा है जिसको ऑथराइज, मतलब वो चीज का उसको ऑथोरिटी है कि नहीं एक्सेस करने का, दैट इज ऑथराइजेशन। वेयर ऑथेंटिकेशन क्या है, कि क्या ये पर्सन ऑथेंटिकेट है, मतलब वो पर्सन को क्रेडेंशियल्स राइट है क्या रॉन्ग है। अगर राइट है तो उसको ऑथेंटिकेट करना है। ऑथेंटिकेट इज लाइक काइंड ऑफ लॉग इन मैकेनिज्म के यहाँ पे हम ऑथेंटिकेशन देखते हैं, authentic person making, where authorization is like easy having this particular rights, इवन दो फॉर एग्जाम्पल कल हमने बात किया था इस चीज के लिए, आशुतोष सर ने बात किया था कि पर्टिकुलर यूजर 6 एंड यूजर 5, समझ लो कि यूजर 5 ऑथेंटिकेट हो चुका है, ठीक है, समझो कि यूजर 5 इज महादेव एंड यूजर 5 ऑथेंटिकेट तो हो गया, बट वो यूजर 6 का जो है उसमें डेटा एक्सेस नहीं है, ही इज नॉट ऑथराइज, बट समझ लो कि यूजर 5 जो महादेव है उसने ऑथेंटिकेट तो कर लिया एंड यूजर 6 का भी डेटा एक्सेस कर पा रहे हैं, दैट इज समथिंग कॉल्ड एज ऑथराइजेशन चेक फेल हो रहा है। मतलब ऑथेंटिकेशन तो बराबर है, मतलब अगर वो महादेव का पासवर्ड रॉन्ग डाल रहा है तो अंदर नहीं जा पा रहा है, बट वो ठीक है अगर राइट पासवर्ड है तो अंदर चले गया, बट वो किरण का भी डेटा देख पा रहा है, दैट इज समथिंग लाइक ऑथराइजेशन चेक्स आर फेलिंग, गॉट इट। सो अभी आई थिंक ये सब थियोरेटिकल पार्ट तो हो चुका है, तो मैं पूरा लेक्चर तो कवर नहीं करूंगा। सो वन इज सेशन मैनेजमेंट, सेकंड इज क्रेडेंशियल स्टफिंग। तो सेशन मैनेजमेंट इज लाइक जहाँ पे हम सेशन स्टोर करते हैं, आइदर वो सर्वर पे या क्लाइंट साइड पे कहीं भी जो सेशन स्टोर करते हैं उसे हैंडल करना है, सेशन मैनेजमेंट बोलते हैं इन शॉर्ट। एंड क्रेडेंशियल स्टफिंग क्या है, ये काइंड ऑफ अटैक है जहाँ पे हमने आपने ये सुना रहेगा या फिर देखा रहेगा, आई एम नॉट श्योर अबाउट इट, लाइक नेटफ्लिक्स के पासवर्ड्स ब्रीच हो जाते हैं, या फिर बोलते हैं ना नेटफ्लिक्स अकाउंट लाइक सेल पे रहते हैं, कुछ लोग कार्ड करके या फिर बोलना अलग चीज से नेटफ्लिक्स के पासवर्ड दे देते हैं। आप देखते हो कि लाइक 1000 रुपीज नेटफ्लिक्स कुछ 100 रुपीज 200 रुपीज में कोई पर्सन सेल कर ले रहा है, कुछ कर ले रहा है, तो ये सब कैसे होता है कि या फिर आपको ऑनलाइन कोई यूजर में पासवर्ड मिल जाते हैं, नॉट अबाउट नेटफ्लिक्स बट आपको विंडोज का क्रेडेंशियल्स हो गया, इसका हो गया, अलग चीजों का क्रेडेंशियल्स आपको ऑनलाइन मिल जाता है। और या फिर आपको समथिंग कॉल्ड एज कॉम्बोज बोला जाता है, कॉम्बो जिसमें आपको लिस्ट ऑफ यूजर में लिस्ट ऑफ पासवर्ड्स मिलते हैं, या फिर कोई डेटा ब्रीच होता है तो वहां पे, तो उस सब चीजों में डेटा ब्रीच होने के टाइम पे आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना पड़ता है कि ये पासवर्ड सही है, इसमें से हजारों लाखों पासवर्ड मिला है, उसमें राइट पासवर्ड कौन सा है, तो वहां पे होता है क्रेडेंशियल स्टफिंग अटैक, जिसको हम क्या कहते हैं, एक पर्टिकुलर यूजर नेम के ऊपर हम लॉट्स ऑफ पासवर्ड्स ब्रूट फोर्स करके देखते हैं कि वेदर ये पासवर्ड लिस्ट राइट है या रॉन्ग है, इसमें कौन सा राइट पासवर्ड राइट है एंड वो सब। एंड इसके अलग अलग मेथड्स है, अलग टाइप्स है जो इसमें कवर किए हुए हैं। आइडिया हो गया, कुकी के बारे में आपको पता रहेगा। सो आई थिंक लेट्स गो टू प्रैक्टिकल, इसमें आई थिंक कुछ नहीं है, so मैं प्रेजेंटेशन क्लोज कर लेता हूँ। So let's go and check with some of the practicals. So and anyways I'm not prepared this session, so might be we will be able to do it or we will see. So हमें इसमें क्या करना है कि इसमें देखना है कि यूजर नेम एनुमरेट करना वाया डिफरेंट रेस्पॉन्सेस, ओके, मतलब हम लोग को यूजर नेम्स के बारे में पता करना है। लेट मी गो टू माय अकाउंट। व्हाट डू यू मीन बाय द टर्म यूजर नेम एनुमरेशन? एनीवन, यूजर नेम एनुमरेशन क्या होता है? ओके, सो हमने यूजर नेम लिस्ट किया हुआ है। ओके, तो यहाँ पे क्या बोला कि दिस लाइव वल्नरेबिलिटी यूजर नेम एनुमरेशन पासवर्ड ब्रूट फोर्स अटैक। तो इसमें दो चीजें, एक तो यूजर नेम को एनुमरेट करना है, मतलब हमें ये पता करना है कि इसमें पर्टिकुलर यूजर नेम प्रेजेंट है कि नहीं, राइट? हेलो, सो कैसे पता कर सकते हैं, एनी आइडिया?
So like to guess or from seeing from a list of usernames.
ठीक है, हम गेस कर सकते हैं, बट आपको ऐसा पता चले कि ये यूजर नेम जो हमने गेस किया वो सही है कि गलत है? तो मैं एकदम सही बोला कि हम गेस करेंगे। लेट्स अज्यूम कि मैंने गेस किया कि एक एडमिन नाम का कोई यूजर है, बट वो एडमिन नाम का यूजर एक्चुअली प्रेजेंट ही नहीं, कैसे समझेगा? तो अभी हम ये लैब में वही देखेंगे कि हाउ टू गेस वेदर यूजर नेम इज प्रेजेंट और नॉट, मतलब गेस करने का वैलिडिटी कैसे करें कि हमारा गेस सही निकला या गलत, ठीक है, वो चीज हम देखेंगे। तो लेट्स ट्राई टू एक्सेस लैब। सो फॉर द टाइमिंग जस्ट बिकॉज लैब है तो हम लोग को थाउजेंड्स एंड लाख्स ऑफ यूजर नेम्स के पीछे भागने की जरूरत नहीं है। आइडियल सिचुएशन में क्या होता है कि आप बहुत सारे यूजर का लिस्ट मिलता है, 1 सेकेंड, आपको वेबसाइट में दिख जाएगा।
सर अगर इनवैलिड यूजरनेम नहीं आएगा तो फिर हम कंफर्म कर सकते हैं सर कि वो यूजरनेम है।
हाँ एग्जैक्टली, अगर इनवैलिड यूजर नेम बोलते हैं वो यूजर नेम करेक्ट है एंड पासवर्ड रॉन्ग है ऐसा कुछ दिया, या फिर बेस्ड ऑन द रेस्पॉन्स क्या आता है उसके बेसिस पे मोस्टली आज के डेट में जो वेबसाइट होते हैं, मोस्ट ऑफ द वेबसाइट 90% वेबसाइट जैसे इनवैलिड यूजर नेम और पासवर्ड, जहाँ बट इनिशियली जो पुराने वेबसाइट्स होते थे, इनफैक्ट अभी भी कुछ कुछ वेबसाइट्स है जहाँ पे साथ है कि इनवैलिड यूजर नेम, इनवैलिड पासवर्ड। तो इनवैलिड पासवर्ड आया या फिर इनवैलिड स्पेसिफिक चीजों के बारे में फोकस किया है कि यूजर नेम बराबर नहीं, यूजर नेम रॉन्ग है। अगर डिफाइन करे तो उससे हम अगर समझ कि यूजर नेम राइट है पासवर्ड रॉन्ग है, तो बोले कि पासवर्ड इज इनकरेक्ट, ना कि यूजर नेम। इससे समझाया कि हाँ दिस लाइक यूजर नेम इज करेक्ट या इनकरेक्ट है, वो हम पता कर सकते हैं। सो ट्राई करते हैं, ठीक है। अभी हम ट्राई करते हैं, कहाँ गया, यहाँ पे, ठीक है। लेट मी इंटरसेप्ट, फिलहाल के लिए मेजर एडमिन एडमिन ट्राई करता हूँ, बेसिक जो अपना ये होता है। तो आप लॉग इन एंड लेट मी जस्ट गो टू इंट्रूडर, ठीक है। अब इंट्रूडर में आने के बाद इसको हम क्लियर कर लेते हैं जो भी चीजें। तो यहाँ पे आ गया इनवैलिड यूजर नेम, ठीक है। यहाँ पे क्या है, इनवैलिड यूजर नेम। पासवर्ड इनवैलिड बता रहा है, नहीं पासवर्ड रॉन्ग बता रहा है, नहीं, वो बोल रहा है यूजर नेम इनवैलिड है। बट अभी हम इसको एक एक करके तो सब ट्राई नहीं कर सकते ना। वैसे हमें यहाँ पे एक ऑप्शन रहता है, जिसकी अगर बॉक्सर का लेक्चर तुमने अटेंड किया है तो उसमें तुम्हें याद रहेगा कि यहाँ पे फ्रॉम ऐड फ्रॉम लिस्ट करके यहाँ पे यूजर नेम का लिस्ट आता है। इसमें सारे यूजर नेम लोड तो हो जाते हैं, बट अभी जस्ट बिकॉज ये लाभ है, इन्होंने खुद ही बोलते ना ये वेबसाइट को हमें डाउन नहीं करना है या फिर इसका मिसयूज नहीं करना है, इसके लिए उन्होंने ट्रैफिक ज्यादा जनरेट नहीं करना है, इसके लिए उन्होंने खुद ही यूजर नेम दिया है। बट रियल वर्ल्ड वेबसाइट्स के अंदर हमें हम वैसा नहीं कर सकते, क्योंकि रियल वर्ल्ड वेबसाइट में हमें यूजर नेम का लिस्ट नहीं मिलता है। तो हमें यहाँ से हम उठा सकते हैं लिस्ट, यहाँ पे यूजर नेम जिसमें थाउजेंड्स एंड लाख यूजर नेम्स रहते हैं, जो हम यूज कर सकते हैं। बट फॉर द टाइमिंग हम लैब यूज करें, तो लैब के अंदर से हम ये जो लैब में जो प्रोवाइडेड है उसी यूजर में से लेंगे, ठीक है। सो लेट्स गो अहेड एंड लेट मी कॉपी दिस यूजर नेम, ठीक है। सो अगेन सेइंग ये यूजर नेम का लिस्ट हर ये में काम नहीं आएगा, तुम्हें सेट लिस्ट या फिर कोई जैसे कि हमने कल देखा था जॉब वस्टर का हो गया, या फिर अपना सेट लिस्ट हो गया, या फिर डिफरेंट डिफरेंट गिटहब के रेपोस होते हैं, वहां से आप यूजर नेम का लिस्ट ले सकते हैं या फिर खुद का जनरेट कर सकते हैं। बट जस्ट फॉर दिस लैब वी आर यूजिंग दिस सॉर्ट ऑफ यूजर नेम्स, ओके। अभी हम स्टार्ट अटैक करते हैं। स्टार्ट अटैक करने के बाद, सॉरी एक सेकंड, मैंने कुछ डिफाइन नहीं किया है, लेट मी चेक, ओके। सो मुझे डिफाइन करना है यूजर नेम, सो यहाँ पे ऐड करना है ऐड। तो ये मेरा पैरामीटर हो गया जिसपे ब्रूट फोर्स अटैक चालू हो जाएगा, ठीक है। अब मैं पेलोड्स पे आता हूँ एंड स्टार्ट अटैक करता हूँ। अब मुझे बताओ, अभी वेबसाइट का इसका हर किसी ने देखा है, ओके। तो अब मुझे बताओ इसमें से राइट यूजर नेम कौन सा कैसे समझेगा, हाउ विल आई नो कि इसमें से राइट यूजर नेम कौन सा है।
A different length, maybe you can guess.
ओके परफेक्ट। तो अगर तुम देखोगे सबका लेंथ जो है ना सेम है, एंड ये एफटीपी का जो लेंथ है ना ये अलग है, तो दिस इज द राइट यूजर नेम। ये अगर तुम्हें क्रॉस वेरीफाई करना तो आप यहाँ पे रेंडर कर सकते हो, एंड जस्ट इट विल टेक सम टाइम। इनकरेक्ट पासवर्ड, तो वायरस बाकी सब में अगर देखोगे ना तो उसमें इनवैलिड यूजर नेम आएगा। तो इससे क्या समझा कि अगर रेस्पॉन्स में चेंजेस होने की वजह से भी हम आइडेंटिफाई कर सकते हैं, द मल्टीपल वेज, इसमें से एक तरीका है जिससे हम पता कर सकते हैं कि यूजर नेम क्या है। अगर यूजर नेम सही है तो हम पासवर्ड पे आ सकते हैं ना, हमें पता ही नहीं यूजर नेम क्या है, तो हम पासवर्ड इसका मतलब कि ये सारे यूजर जो हैं, एडमिन हो गए जो भी हैं, लेट्स से एडमिन, एडमिन में लाखों करोड़ों दुनिया भर के जितने पासवर्ड कॉम्बिनेशन सारे भी ट्राई कर लूं तो भी मुझे एक्सेस मिलेगा क्या। Okay, someone is asking like whenever we try to do an attack like sniffer or cluster on the performance of website degrades or it stops working. So इसका आंसर ये है कि परफॉर्मेंस तो डिग्रेड होता ही है, बट वो किस लेवल पे होता है वो टोटली डिपेंड करता है सर्वर का लाइक कैपेसिटी क्या है, एंड आपका जो ब्रूट फोर्सिंग का जो लिमिट है या फिर थ्रेशोल्ड है या थ्रेड से बेसिकली वो कितना है उसके ऊपर टोटली डिपेंड करता है। सेकंड है कि वेदर इट स्टॉप्स वर्किंग, अगर उसका कैपेसिटी एक्सीड हो जाता है, समझ लो कि उसका कैपेसिटी है 1000 रिक्वेस्ट पर मिनट या पर सेकंड, और तुमने 10,000 रिक्वेस्ट पर सेकंड डाल दिए, तो उसमें उनका कैपेसिटी एग्जॉस्ट होता है, उस केस में परफॉर्म होना बंद आता है, स्टॉप होता है। अगर उसमें कोई प्रोटेक्शन नहीं है, एनहांसमेंट नहीं है, प्रॉपर कॉन्फ़िगर नहीं किया हुआ है, उस केस में वेबसाइट स्टॉप हो जाएगा, एंड दैट इज आल्सो नोन एज डीडोस अटैक, ओके। और डिनायल ऑफ सर्विस जहाँ पे आप टेम्पररी बेसिस पे किसी का वेबसाइट का फंक्शन बंद कर सकते हो या फिर डिग्रेड कर सकते हो। सो बोथ इज पॉसिबल, लाइक वेबसाइट को डिग्रेड करना ही पॉसिबल है एज वेल एज स्टॉप करना भी पॉसिबल है, बट टोटली डिपेंड्स ऑन हाउ इट इज कॉन्फ़िगर्ड एंड उस डीडॉस के भी बहुत सारे टाइप्स होते हैं, तो आप किस तरीके से कर रहे हो। बट मोस्ट ऑफ द वेबसाइट्स उनके इसमें एक्सेस ट्रैफिक आने के से, इवन दो वो डिग्रेड ना हो, इवन दो वो स्टॉप ना हो, उनका कॉस्टिंग बढ़ता है। जैसे कि आपको अगर वो पता होगा कि शेयर्ड होस्टिंग के बारे में या फिर डेडिकेटेड होस्टिंग, अलग टाइप का होस्टिंग्स होते हैं, एंड इवन जैसे कि AWS वगैरह हो, वहाँ पे पे एज यू गो मॉडल भी होता है। तो डिपेंड करता है कि आपका खुद का सर्वर है या फिर आप पे एज यू गो मॉडल चूज कर रहे हो या फिर कैसा है। उसके बेस पे डिफाइन करता है कि अगर ट्रैफिक ज्यादा है तब वो कॉस्टिंग ज्यादा आएगा, बिल ज्यादा आएगा। इट्स लाइक एन इलेक्ट्रिसिटी की तरह, आप ज्यादा बिल इलेक्ट्रिसिटी खर्चा करोगे तो बिल ज्यादा आता है। वैसे ही अगर आपके वेबसाइट में ट्रैफिक ज्यादा आता है तो आपका रिसोर्स ज्यादा यूटिलाइज होंगे, एंड आपको उसके हिसाब से जो पेमेंट होगा, जो भी बिल्स आते हैं वेबसाइट के होस्टिंग का कॉस्ट है, जो कुछ भी है वो इंक्रीज हो जाता है। ओके ओके, सो अभी हमें मालूम पड़ा कि FTP तो यूजर है, ठीक है। अभी हमें क्या करना है, पासवर्ड पता करना है। तो अब मैं इसको क्लियर करता हूँ, ठीक है। अब मुझे मालूम पड़ेगा कि दिस इज FTP, तो यहाँ पे हम इसको क्लियर कर लेंगे, एंड इधर हम लिखेंगे FTP जस्ट बिकॉज वी गॉट द यूजर नेम FTP। अब पासवर्ड को लेना है, ऐड करना है। नाउ अब पासवर्ड निकालना है तो क्या करेंगे, अब यहाँ पे पासवर्ड का लिस्ट भी दिया रहेगा, राइट। सेम गोस विथ यहाँ पे आपको पासवर्ड का लिस्ट मिल जाता है, एंड अगर आपको पासवर्ड का लिस्ट याद रहेगा तो हमने एक पेलोड का टाइप भी यूज किया है जिसको हम ब्रूट फोर्स से बोलते हैं, कहाँ गया, जिसमें आप सारे टाइप के पासवर्ड, स्पेशल कैरेक्टर से सारे पासवर्ड ट्राई कर सकते हो। जिसका काउंट देखो यहाँ पे समथिंग इतना जा रहा है। अगर हम लेटर्स एंड नंबर यूज करते हैं, अगर हम सोच इस तरह से यूज करेंगे सारे स्पेशल कैरेक्टर्स, तो काउंट समथिंग इतना आता है, लाइक 44,77,456 पासवर्ड जनरेट होगा। इतना सब पासवर्ड ब्रूट फोर्स करने में काफी टाइम लग जाएगा, तो हम इतने सारे तो अभी नहीं करेंगे क्योंकि अपने पास इतना टाइम नहीं है, बैंडविड्थ नहीं है। तो अभी के लिए हम वही पासवर्ड ट्राई करेंगे जो लैब के लिए दिया हुआ है। बट डेफिनेटली तुम्हें ये लैब के पासवर्ड ट्राई नहीं करना, आपको सारे पासवर्ड ट्राई करने आप यूज कर सकते हो। बेस्ट थिंग इज लाइक आप रात को लगा के सो जाओ, सुबह तक आपका पासवर्ड क्रैक हो चुका रहेगा। तो बट अपने पास इतना बैंडविड्थ नहीं है, इसीलिए हम ये लैब पासवर्ड ट्राई करें। ओके, but you can definitely ignore this password list and try your own password. Okay, paste. ठीक है, तो 100 पासवर्ड काउंट है, यहाँ पे 100 आ गया। यहाँ पे हमने पोजीशन में सेट कर लिया पासवर्ड क्या है, एंड नाउ स्टार्ट द अटैक। ओके, वापस से देखते हैं 170। ठीक है, समझ लो कि इस वेबसाइट में तो ठीक है लैब है, हमें सारे बोलते ना लेंथ सिमिलर मिल गए, एंड इधर जो है इधर लेंथ अलग मिला, तो हमने निकाल दिया। बट व्हाट इफ आई से कि एक रियल वर्ल्ड वेबसाइट में ये सारे लेंथ अलग आ रहे हैं, मतलब सारे पासवर्ड के लिए वो लेंथ, रॉन्ग पासवर्ड के लिए अलग लेंथ दे रहा है। तो इस केस में हम कैसे फाइंड करेंगे कि ये पासवर्ड करेक्ट है कि नहीं या यूजर नेम करेक्ट है कि नहीं? एनी आइडिया?
सर रिस्पॉन्स चेक करके।
रेस्पॉन्स चेक करके। बट हम
Yes,
एक
sir.
एक रेस्पॉन्स, हाँ एक एक रेस्पॉन्स देखेंगे तो कितना टाइम, बहुत टाइम लग जाएगा। तो हम ऐसा कुछ कर सकते हैं क्या कि सारे रेस्पॉन्स का कुछ पर्टिकुलर वैल्यूज हमें इस पे दिख जाए, जिससे हम समझे कि हाँ ये रेस्पॉन्स हम लोग को काम का नहीं है, एंड ये रेस्पॉन्स इज समथिंग विच इज यूजफुल। अभी अगर मैं यहाँ पे तो 100 का लिस्ट है, तो 100 का लिस्ट पे अगर देखूंगा रेस्पॉन्स तो काफी टाइम लगेगा, राइट। सो ऐसा कुछ जो इजी करे कि मुझे सारे रेस्पॉन्स को ओपन करके देखना पड़े, डायरेक्टली मालूम पड़े।
सर फिल्टर विल्टर डाल सकते हैं कि वहाँ पे, मतलब कि रिस्पॉन्सेस के अंदर अगर समझो आया सक्सेसफुल या सक्सेस ऐसा कुछ ऐसा आया तो वो
हम्म,
उनको शो करे।
एग्जैक्टली। तो हमने अगर वर्कशीट में ग्रेप का यूज किया था, अगर तुम्हें याद हो तो हमने ग्रेप का यूज किया था, तो वो हम यूज करके ये कर सकते हैं, ठीक है। फर्दर इस केस में वो वोकेबल नहीं कि इसमें स्टेटस कोड ही अलग है, लाइक इसमें ये स्टेटस कोड है ना, तो स्टेटस कोड से आप देख सकते हो जो भी आपका स्टेटस कोड 200 है, एंड अगर आपका सक्सेस होता है, कभी भी लॉग इन अगर सक्सेस होगा ना, तो स्टेटस कोड हमेशा 302 ही होगा। ओके, 3xx क्यों होगा? क्योंकि फॉर एग्जाम्पल अगर आप इस वेबसाइट पे आते हो, ठीक है, ये वेबसाइट करके नहीं, कोई भी वेबसाइट में अगर लॉग इन करो, facebook.com में आप लॉग इन कर लो या कहीं भी लॉग इन कर लो, आप लॉग इन करने के बाद वही डोमेन पे रहते हो, स्लैश डैशबोर्ड आ जाएगा, कुछ तो आ जाएगा। बट आपका बोलते हैं ना जो पेज है वो किसी और पेज पे रिडायरेक्ट करता है, पोस्ट लॉग इन या प्री लॉग इन। आप एक स्टैटिक पेज से एक डायनेमिक पेज में चले जाते हो, तो उसको बोलते हैं रिडायरेक्शन। आप स्टेटस कोड के बारे में पढ़ोगे तो आप एक डिफरेंट चीज में रिडायरेक्ट करते हो, तो आपको स्टेटस कोड देखना है, नॉट नेसेसरी कि हमेशा आपका लेंथ वर्कआउट करेगा। अगर लेंथ ये नहीं तो आप स्टेटस कोड देख सकते हो। आंसर मतलब कि सारे का स्टेटस कोड ही 302 हो रहेगा। उस केस में क्या है कि आपको यहाँ पे कुछ ना कुछ इनवर्ट पास, एक सेकेंड आप मतलब लेट मी चेक, यहाँ पे आ जाएगा कुछ रेस्पॉन्स इनकरेक्ट पासवर्ड, ठीक है। तो आप क्या कर सकते हो, पेटी में जाओ, इनकरेक्ट ये पासवर्ड, तो इस पर्टिकुलर चीज को आप ग्रैब कर सकते हो। अभी के केस में ये इतना वर्केबल नहीं है क्योंकि यहाँ पे स्टेटस कोड का ये है, बट बट फिर भी तुम्हें वो इनकरेक्ट पासवर्ड का चीज दिखा देता हूँ। यहाँ पे आपको जाना है, यहाँ पे आपको जाके ग्रेप एक्सट्रैक्ट करना है, ऐड करना है। ऐड करने में आपको फेच रेस्पॉन्स करना है। फेच रेस्पॉन्स करने के बाद एक सम टाइम वो रेस्पॉन्स आएगा। ओके ओके, आई थिंक ये लैब का पासवर्ड एक बार अटैक हो गया तो वापस शायद वर्क नहीं कर रहा है। चेक क्या हो रहा है, लैब इज एक्सपायर्ड। ओके, मैं एक बार ट्राई करता हूँ। आई थिंक एक्सपायर हो गया लैब। हाँ तो ये रिक्वेस्ट एक्सपायर हो गया। एक बार पासवर्ड आ गया ना तो वापस से हमें करना पड़ेगा। सो फॉर द टाइमिंग मैं तुम्हें दिखाता हूँ कि कैसे करना है। इसको हम क्लोज करते हैं, हमें पासवर्ड पता चल गया कि एक एफ एंड दूसरा चीज है डिस्कार्ड। तो इधर हम लिखते हैं FTP एंड सॉल्व, कॉम्बिनेशन है सोल्डर आप। अभी वापस से मैं ये लैब सॉल्व करने ट्राई करता हूँ। आई थिंक ये लाइव कर गया। ओके ठीक है, एक काम इसको क्लोज करते हैं, फिर क्लोज करते हैं, टारगेट प्रॉक्सी पे आते हैं, ऑन करते हैं, लेट्स सेट लॉग इन। इसके मैं वापस इंट्रोडो में लेके आता हूँ, ऑफ करता हूँ, क्लियर। ठीक है, अभी हमें इसमें मालूम है कि FTP है, FTP एंड इसको ऐड करते हैं, लोड्स केस, ठीक है। अटैक ऑप्शंस में आता हूँ, यहाँ पे हम ऐड करते हैं एंड फेच रिस्पॉन्स करते हैं, प्रोबेबली आना चाहिए। ओके सो ये लैब में नहीं आ रहा है बट आइडियल सिचुएशन में आ जाएगा अगर रियल वर्ल्ड वेबसाइट्स लेते हो। कोई वेबसाइट है क्या जिसमें हम दिखा सकता हूँ? ठीक है, इसमें दिखा दो। ओके, हो गया। आई थिंक ये वेबसाइट भी वर्क नहीं कर रहा आज। ओके, वेबसाइट आज वर्क नहीं कर रहा है, जनरली वर्क करता है, नहीं दिखा रहेगा। ओके लेट्स चेक, इसके ऊपर ट्राई करते हैं एक बार। ओके समझ लो कि इसमें फिलहाल ये टेस्ट दिया हुआ है, लेट्स ट्राई ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर वन। हम कैसे वो ग्रेप वाला फंक्शन यूज कर सकते हैं। टेस्ट लॉगिन, मैं कुछ टेस्ट नहीं डालता हूँ, कुछ और डालता हूँ। पासवर्ड कंट्रोल आई ऑफ करते हैं। यहाँ पे अभी क्लियर करते हैं, इसको ऐड करके फिल्टर्स में आना है। यहाँ पे हम क्लियर, चलो हम कुछ पासवर्ड डाल देते हैं। एडमिन पासवर्ड, कुछ और डालना है। महादेव टेस्ट हेलो, समथिंग ऐसा, मार्वल। ठीक है, सम पासवर्ड लिस्ट डाल दिया। हम कहते हैं स्टार्ट अटैक। ओके, इसमें से और तुम देखोगे इसके अंदर भी, इसमें स्टेटस कोड से एक पता चला, दूसरा लाइन से मांगना पड़ा। अपार्ट फ्रॉम जो दूसरा मेथड है वो हम इस बार ट्राई करेंगे इसमें ऐड करने के लिए। टच रिस्पॉन्स, यू मस्ट लॉग इन। और बाकी इसमें क्या रिस्पॉन्स है। सी लैब्स का यही प्रॉब्लम है, लैब्स में कुछ ऐसा खास रिस्पॉन्स वगैरह ऐसा आता नहीं है जिसमें ये करे। बट रियल वर्ल्ड वेबसाइट्स रहेगा ना, तो उसमें आपको एक्चुअल में दिखेगा। ठीक है, फिलहाल के लिए मैं तुम्हें ये दिखा देता हूँ। और ये ओके, ठीक है। यहाँ पे रिजल्ट्स अभी आप देखोगे तो आपको दिख जाएगा। जो कमेंट्स है तो उसमें आपको सब में यू मस्ट लॉग इन आया, बट ये जो ये पर्टिकुलर चीज़ है, जो टेस्ट था जो राइट है, उसमें वो कमेंट ये नहीं किया। तो इस तरीके से आपको ये आ जाए, आप पर्टिकुलर सेक्शन को सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं रेस्पॉन्स के, जैसे इनकरेक्ट पास है या कोई पर्टिकुलर सेक्शन हो गया, तो जिससे आपको दिखेगा कि इन सब में रेस्पॉन्स क्या है और बाकी में क्या है। तो आपको हर चीज़ में रेस्पॉन्स अलग से देखने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी। आप ग्रेप का फंक्शन यूज करते हो एक पर्टिकुलर स्ट्रिंग के लिए, जिससे आपको समझे कि ओके अगर ये पर्टिकुलर चीज़ है मतलब ये राइट है, एल्स बाकी सब चीज़ें रॉन्ग है, तो उसके फिल्टर करना कुछ भी करना इजी हो जाएगा। इन केस इट डजंट वर्क विथ लेंथ और कैन से स्टेटस कोड या कुछ और चीज़ें से वर्क नहीं करता है, उस केस में तुम ये पर्टिकुलर सेक्शन ग्रेप वाला सेक्शन यूज कर सकते हो। आने का समझा? क्लियर? हेलो।
Yes, sir.
सो द मल्टीपल मेथड्स, एक स्टेटस कोड है, दूसरा लेंथ है, तीसरा मतलब रेस्पॉन्स को ग्रेप करके देख सकते हो। तो मल्टीपल वेज जिसके थ्रू आप ये कर सकते हो। ठीक है, क्लियर? सो एनी क्वेश्चंस और डाउट्स? सो दैट्स ऑल फॉर टुडे। कोई और लाभ से अगर कुछ दिखना है तो वैसा बताओ, तो हम वैसा देख लेते हैं। आपको किसी पर्टिकुलर चीज में क्यूरी है या फिर कोई केस स्टडी चाहिए या कुछ चाहिए, तब then you can definitely let me know, then we can proceed accordingly. I was not in the lecture, entire lecture, so I'm not sure कि exactly क्या कवर हो रहा है क्या कवर नहीं हुआ है। और आपको लगता है कि कोई चीज़ कवर नहीं हुई है या फिर कुछ ये है या फिर कोई और अलग से लाभ सीखने कुछ करने हैं, you can definitely let me know. I can take up anything on the spot itself. No worries. Hello Nidhi, are you there?
हेलो सर।
Yes.
Hmm. So yeah, Rohan, Rehan, you are asking something?
सर वो असाइनमेंट्स जो है वो मतलब सबमिट कब करना है?
असाइनमेंट सबमिशन इट्स लाइक एंड ऑफ द इंटर्नशिप से पहले आपको एक डेडलाइन आ जाएगा। बट क्या है कि प्रेफर्ड यही रहेगा कि आप एवरी वीक जो भी वीकली असाइनमेंट्स मिलते हैं उसके हिसाब से आप स्टार्ट करो एंड ये करना चालू करो। एक काम करता हूँ, असाइनमेंट्स का मैं तुम्हें और भी देता हूँ। एक मिनट में असाइनमेंट का लिंक ओपन करने दो, जस्ट गिव मी मिनट, ताकि तुम्हें समझ में।
वो थोड़ा हाँ समझेगा तो ज़्यादा ठीक होगा।
Yes, sir.
एक सेकंड मुझे देना। I'm just checking where's assignment link. Can someone share the assignment link? I think I got it. हाँ मिल गया. इससे स्क्रीन शेयर करता हूँ. सबसे पहला असाइनमेंट हम लोग जैसे स्टार्ट में हमने बताया कि 3 टाइप के रहते हैं. एक रहता है कि जो सबमिट करने वाला असाइनमेंट्स, एक रहता है कि नॉन सबमिशन असाइनमेंट्स, एंड तीसरा होता है कि हैंड रिटन असाइनमेंट्स. ठीक है. तो ये पहला सेक्शन है, इसमें तो आपको सिर्फ बेसिकली ओवरव्यू दिया है कि असाइनमेंट्स क्यों है एंड इससे आपका बेनिफिट्स क्या है. मेन बेनिफिट्स तो ये है कि आपको इसका प्रैक्टिकल एक्सपीरियंस मिल जाएगा, प्लस एज वेल एज आपका रेज्यूम में हेल्प होगा, क्योंकि हम लोग का असाइनमेंट मोस्टली ट्राई हैक मी, हैक द बॉक्स, पीको सीटीएफ ऐसे प्लेटफॉर्म पे जहाँ पे जिसमें आपका रैंकिंग इंक्रीज होगा. ठीक है. सो इसमें आपको बेनिफिट हमने एक्सप्लेन कर दिया है कि व्हाट इज द रीजन बिहाइंड दिस असाइनमेंट्स एंड गोल. बेसिकली असाइनमेंट सबमिट कैसे करना है, आपको गूगल ड्राइव पे सबमिट करना है. हम गूगल ड्राइव का लाइक फॉर्म्स मिलते हैं एंड हम आपको एक फोल्डर शेयर कर लेंगे जिधर आपको सबमिट करना रहेगा. फॉर द टाइमिंग इसका कुछ ऐसा फॉर्म वगैरह बनाया नहीं है, क्योंकि अभी असाइनमेंट का सबमिशन डेट्स वगैरह कुछ डिक्लेयर नहीं किया है. सो यू कैन क्रिएट असाइनमेंट एंड कीप इट इनटू योर फोल्डर और समथिंग सो दैट यू कैन शेयर व्हेनेवर यू आस्क. तो पहला असाइनमेंट तो यह है कि वर्चुअल मशीन या VMware इंस्टॉल करो, इसमें लिनक्स डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन इंस्टॉल करो, क्योंकि आपको फ्यूचर में लगने वाला है. इसमें ऐसा कुछ सबमिशन वगैरह कुछ नहीं है. ये जो पार्ट है ये आपके इसके लिए कि आपको एक लिनक्स ऑपरेटिंग सिस्टम आपके इसमें होना चाहिए, ताकि आप उसको इजीली ये कर सकते हो. अभी ये जो लिनक्स फंडामेंटल्स है, ये हैक द बॉक्स में ना एक एकेडमी, इट्स अ फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट. ठीक है. फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट है. आपको एकेडमी में हैक द बॉक्स पे आना है, आपको आपका अकाउंट क्रिएट करना है अगर हैक द बॉक्स पे नहीं है तो. ठीक है.
सर उसके लिए अलग अलग करना पड़ेगा, मतलब हैक द बॉक्स के लिए अलग है, एकेडमी के लिए अलग, मतलब आपको अकाउंट क्रिएट करना पड़ेगा.
हाँ सबके अलग अलग अकाउंट क्रिएट करना
हाँ,
पड़ता है.
बिकॉज सर कुछ कुछ कभी कभी लोगों को लगता है कि मतलब सेम है दोनों का, मतलब that's it.
नहीं नहीं नहीं, अलग है. उसका URLs भी दिया हुआ है. ओके. सबसे फॉर एग्जांपल ये रहा, ये हैक द बॉक्स का ये है. मैंने अभी लॉगिन कर लिया, तो लॉगिन में आपको ऐसा दिखेगा. यहाँ पे आपको जो इनिशियली फ्री में कुछ क्यूब्स मिलते हैं, जिससे आप इसको अनलॉक कर सकते हो. अनलॉक करेंगे आपको ये सारे सेक्शंस कंप्लीट करने रहेंगे. इसमें कुछ ऐसा कुछ हार्ड एंड फास्ट नहीं रहता है, सब कुछ आपको दिया रहता है, इजी रहता है, एक्सप्लेन किया रहता है. इसमें कुछ क्वेश्चंस रहते हैं जिसको आपको आंसर करना रहता है, एंड वो आंसर करना है, ये चैलेंज सॉल्व हो जाता है. ठीक है. टायर जीरो इज लाइक वेरी इजी वन, फंडामेंटल से. ठीक है. ये आपको ये करना है सबसे पहले फंडामेंटल्स. तो इसका हैंड रिटन नोट्स